Greetings, 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 friends, countrymen, Romans. Lend me your ears. Welcome to the Dopest Nerd. We up in the house. As you come in, be sure to like, share, subscribe, give us a thumbs up. Today's topic is, what about the victims? What about us? What about the victims? I think in this whole saga, let me raise my, or perhaps I should raise myself up. I think my computer's too high. Or maybe let me take this banner off. Welcome in, guys. What about the victims? It seems in this landscape of all that's going on, people seem to have forgotten about the victims in all this. I'm not exactly sure what's going on, but I will say that it doesn't give me pleasure. There is so much going on in the saga of this case, and I wonder if people have stopped and taken a moment to understand that they are re-victimizing the victims. We feel re-victimized. Too much is going on. There are a lot of players, and listen, we all have free speech. We all have the right to have a discussion in regards to what's going on. And I don't know that all of the parties involved in this are involved in it from a pure place. Not exactly sure. Greetings, Black Gold 347. Don't beat me up, girl. Don't beat me up. Yeah, there are a lot of people inserting themselves into this whole saga, and it is feeling. Shout out to the Dopest Mod. Shout out to JJ. Everybody that's in the house, thank you for joining me. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you thought it not robbery to come and stop by the Dopest Nerd. And we thank you and we appreciate you always and forever. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, share the link. Let me create a shareable link. Share it with your share it with everybody so they can come on. We want to grow this channel. We want to run it up. We want everybody to do their part, do what they can to assist us in running it up. I'm going to put a shareable link in here. So anyone who cares to, chooses to, wants to, can share the link and bring others in. I am quite disenfranchised with the landscape of what it looks like out here. If this is your first time coming to the Dopest Nerd channel, I thank you. I see that there's a glare on my glasses. If this is your first time here, I thank you. I welcome you. You're welcome to come here anytime you want. Join the family. We just have a couple of house rules. When you come here, take off your shoes, put them by the door, put on some fuzzy socks. There's a basket by the door. Grab a pair. They're all freshly laundered. Put your feet up and enjoy what we have to discuss here. I am very, very disenfranchised by what I see occurring. And what some people don't realize is that, like I said, while everyone has a right to have their say, I'm an advocate of people having their say. The part that I think people are missing out on is the flooding of all of this extra stuff into the dialogue of this case, of this saga, this still ever unfolding saga. I know everybody wants to have their say and people want to insert themselves into it. And what they're forgetting is that there are some innocent victims here. We are not just a sideline part of this case. We are the case. And there are children involved. Now, they may have been children when it occurred, but as we all know, when you suffer amazing trauma as a child, while biologically your body will still continue to grow and you will become an adult, but you are still operating from a place of trauma, and the broken little girl or boy inside of you is still the person at the forefront of everything that's going on. And people have to keep in mind and factor that in. Like, I see a lot of jokes being made about this case. I see a lot of, fodder. I see a lot of people inserting themselves. I'm bothered by it. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you received your copy of Shot in the Dark. I'm so happy. Let me give a shout out to everybody real quick before I get deep in the conversation. Shout out to Black Old 347. Shout out to Locked, the dopest mod. Shout out to Nicole Powell. Hey, there you go. Take your shoes off, put your feet up, relax. There's a few people who are, anonymous and watching, and we thank you as well. No need to put your name in the comments if you don't choose to. Real as it gets. Shout out to you from West Virginia. And that's another thing. Let me know, where you guys naturally thick? Hi, baby. How you doing? Let me know. Blessings to you all. Let me know where you're from. Drop a little information, like where you watching from. Shout your states out and shout out something special. How was everybody's day? Tell me something beautiful about your day. Woodbridge, Virginia. My peeps are in Virginia. I got family up there, making a lot of money and getting a lot of, hey, I hear that. That's right. That's right. Jersey in the house. DMV in the house. Uh-oh, St. Louis in the house. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. If everyone that's here can give us a thumbs up right now so that we can get the likes up. Also, if you can share the video to someone you know. Chicago in the house. Share the video to someone you know. Bring some people in. Throw it on your socials. And let's run this up, because I think there's a segment that's being lost here in all of this. I think there are so many people who are interested in inserting themselves into the fray or the melee or the landscape or the whatever you want to call it. But I want people to keep in mind that there are broken adults who still function from a place of a traumatized child, and there are also injured souls that are out here. And we are all sitting in our houses. I'm active. I've been out in these truth-telling streets forever and a day, and I'm not going to stop until justice belongs to us all. However, everybody doesn't have this platform or choose to have this sort of platform. It's really a freak show. Indeed, indeed. I'm going to put that comment on the screen because that is so very true. It is a freak show right now, and it's very sad for us. Hey, from the UK. Hey, Angela Carrington from the UK. It's disconcerting that in an attempt to, now some people are on a true journey for fact-finding and helping the victims, survivors. However, some people are here for self-aggrandizement. I'll just say it. There's something very heavy about being chosen by God and having a gift. There's something very heavy. You can't unsee. I'll give you some thoughts about her shortly. I see your comment. I'll give you some thoughts about her shortly. There are, in psychology, there is something called duping delight. Duping delight, it's a characteristics, it's a vibration, it's an energy that you will see take place on the face or the demeanor of someone who believes themselves to be getting over, to be conning, to be condescending, to be pulling a fast one on people. I keep seeing, you don't take my word for it. You guys have, like I say here all the time, don't take my word for anything I say. You have the right to look everything up. Let me raise this light up because it's giving a glare on my glasses. I think this may be a little better. Not so much. It's giving a glare on my glasses. I'm sorry about that, guys. But duping delight allows people to, it is an energy that is given off from someone when they perceive themselves to be getting over on you. When I tell you, once you're chosen by God and you are granted gifts that you have no options on, gifts that I don't have the leisure of taking this gift off and leaving it on the dresser. I've told you all before, I would love to do that. However, that option wasn't granted to me when God chose me. It's just my gift. I have to stick it out. I've seen too many people harbor duping delight when they're on these various platforms and discussing it and talking. And I get it. It's like a car crash. When people are driving down the street, so many people stop to look at the car crash. They can't help but to ogle. I'm not exactly sure why. When I'm driving by, I know when there's a car crash, the first thing I want to do is get away from it so that whatever life-saving remedies are available to them will be afforded to them. I certainly don't want to be a distraction or an obstruction for life-saving tools to reach them. However, everyone doesn't feel like that. We all know that because we drive to work on the highways and the byways every day, and we see people ogling on the highway at the accident as if there's something that looking will do, as if looking will increase the likelihood that the survivors or the victims will survive, or that it will somehow change what they're enduring. I don't like it. It's usually out of a selfish place. Ooh, what's going on over there? Let me see. It's usually not in the best interest of the victim. That's happening here now. I'm watching. So I'll speak about different people just that I've noticed. Ariel Mitchell Kidd, the attorney, prior to her announcing that she was representing Burgess, Courtney Burgess, I would see her on a whole bunch of supposed to be news programs or just platforms, entertainment news shows, whatever you want to call them. And there was this kind of smirk. The smirk is the duping delight. That's what that is. There was this smirk, and there was this, I've been hired to shop the videos for some respective people to represent the seller so that these people can do a catch and kill. And I said to my daughter, what? I said, first of all, what in the, an attorney is on the media making herself available and using the media as a sales platform so that she can let prospective people who knew they were on videos or speculated that they may be on a freak off video or two. She was using the news. She was finessing news organizations under the guise of discussing it. And she was basically giving a sales pitch. And I said to my daughter, what in the dog's not, like how is there a federal investigation going on? And you are out here hawking tapes that display crimes being committed. How are you hawking? I said, what kind of attorney jeopardizes her license to do something like this? And it certainly is not in good taste. There are people on the video, if what we heard is to be believed, I've not seen the video, this is speculation, but if what we've heard is to be believed, that a lot of these people were outside of their physical control based on being somehow or having substances introduced to their bodies against their will without their prior knowledge that rendered them incapable of giving permission or refusing permission. How are you selling that? And if you have them for sale, who's dumb enough when you're advertising it on the news to think that it's the only copy? I found it to be in very poor taste, and these are my opinions. All of the opinions and sentiments expressed on the Dopest Nerd channel are that of the Dopest Nerd, or in respect to any particular guest we may have on the channel at any given time. I don't understand how someone thinks when a federal investigation is going on that this is the time for themselves to have a fire sale. And how does an attorney in good conscience come forward and allow herself to be used for the purposes of peddling the wares? And now we are to understand that there are children and you're peddling this stuff? And why is it in your interest to allow someone to do a catch and kill? Perhaps they were a victim. I'm sure they don't want their name out. But here's what my mother always says. If you don't want somebody to know the things that you do, the best way to protect yourself against having your cover blown is don't do it. Don't do it. Not the least of which is if they were victims, it was exactly, I said the same thing too. It's extortion. You are 100% right. It sounded like extortion to me. Now, like I said, these are my opinions, and you know how opinions work. But I could not, for the love of God, understand how this was allowed to transpire and what in God's green earth was taking place. It sounded very self-aggrandizing and lacking any care, consideration, or empathy for the survivors and the victims. I didn't see one iota of care in that, because there is an ongoing federal investigation. The moment you found the footage, should you not have turned it over? Should you not have reached out and said, that is what your attorney should have done? Reached out and said, greetings, Attorney General or District Attorney of the Southern District of New York. We have some items that we think you would need to see. And we think they may be pertinent to the case. How can we arrange a time and a place for us to come and submit these things unto you? And then Courtney Burgess. Now, here's the thing about people. When people are doing, I always say this about when people are running a play, when it's not coming from a sincere place and they making a move, they pulling a move. Most people, because they think so highly of themselves, they usually stop at plan A. They don't usually have a plan B. They certainly don't have a plan W. And I always talk about self-assessment and self-introspection. Here's this thing that people have. They seem to think that they are superior to other people in the room, or they have the innate ability to get over on people or finesse people or get their point across. I've seen a lot of people in this landscape that are doing a horrific job at getting their point across. My favorite line, they can't string together verb subject agreement. They don't take the time to enunciate. And so you're spending the majority of their interview going, huh? Well, what they said? What? What? Not understanding people, but you're out here you're on an award tour. You're on a speaking tour, but you lack the ability to properly express yourself. And listen, I'm in no way trying to denigrate anyone or trying to insult anyone, but I'm sorry. If you're going to be out here doing interviews, be able to espouse your point of view in a very succinct manner so we can get it. Once you start to muddle and jumble the playing field, it's that whole, one of my great friends said, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. You can always tell when someone fails to plan. You don't sit down and say, run the game with a few people and say, okay, ask me a few questions. What kind of questions do you think I'd be subject to? Ask me those questions so I can get my response in order. No, you're not doing that. You're just out here. It's very sus to me as well, naturally thick. Very, very sus. When you can't get your point out and say cohesive full sentences, when your main mission, you already got me side-eyeing you, when your main mission was to sell videotapes. Now listen, anybody can write about any topic. All they have to do is go and do a intense level of study on a topic and get there, ensure that they have facts in order or to the best ability, and do the background work. And if you want to put out, you put out. I interviewed Chris Todd yesterday. Chris has always maintained I didn't write the book. I am the publisher of the book. I didn't write the book. It was given to me. Like he said yesterday, I made some adjustments, grammatical errors, things like that. I made some adjustments, but I did not write the book. I can't fault him because here's the thing. Courtney put the book out 2 years ago and nobody bit. And in his time, I agree, they're denigrating themselves and submitting themselves to be or to feel like, I'm trying to use my words very selectively because I know we live in a world where people are very easily butt hurt. And you know what they say about a hit dog? They'll holler. And I am the one. I am the one and the two in this instance. So if anybody feels offended by my words and decides to try to come after me, all I can say is, you don't want to come back. You don't want to come back? Because I'm here for you. Not only do I have firsthand knowledge about this case and the surrounding cases, not only was I there, not Monday morning quarterbacking, I'm directly connected to the case. I'm not Monday morning armchair quarterbacking. I'm not one of those, if I was you, I would, or what you need to do. I'm not doing that. I have a dog in this fight. I have a sincere desire for the truth to come out. I have a sincere desire for people who were victimized to get recompense and justice in whatever manner justice looks like for them. I don't like people making a mockery out of a serious thing like this. I don't understand. My daughter showed me some young guy who is now a high school senior who had every opportunity in the world to step out into, adulthood and get his education. He decided to dress up as Puffy and his friend was Baby Oil. Do you understand what a mockery you're making of the suffering of victims? Like, why is that okay? Why is that okay? I don't get it. I don't get why that is okay, or why people don't have the wherewithal to understand that. Can you guys still hear me? I try to turn off this. Put a 1 in the chat if you can still hear me. I put this thing on mute, but I want to make sure you can hear me. Can you hear me? Okay. Yes, you can hear me? Okay, great. I didn't want these notifications to be popping up. I noticed in the prior video, you can hear all the text messages and notifications. I'm still working this thing out, y'all. Y'all bear with me. But I don't like when, because here's the thing. If you're going to go on if you book an interview, nothing wrong with booking an interview. You feel like you have something to contribute. There's nothing wrong with booking an interview. But once you book that interview, have something tangible to say. Like coming on and mumbling and What happened to practicing your dance before you go to the club? You in the mirror like, okay, let me drop it down. What happened to rehearsing? Is rehearsal something that this generation doesn't do, or people don't do that anymore? I don't get it. I don't get it. If being a communicator is not your forte, then anything that you do that is not your forte, it requires some rehearsal. That's what it is. You see, Cardi B was speaking at the one of the campaign stops, and the teleprompter wasn't working. My girl said, "Y'all not about to play me." She thought on her feet. She called her Paris. Paris knew. She didn't even have to tell Paris what she wanted. She knew. She pointed down. She knew. Bring her phone, and she read it from her phone. I'm not mad at that. She is who she is. She gets her point across, and she does so in a manner that you know what she's saying. There is no ambiguity with what she's saying. There is so much ambiguity around what Courtney is saying, and it's an ever-evolving tale. My brain is wired in a funny kind of way. The first time I hear you speak and lay facts, the second time I hear you speak and there's a slight modulation in what you said, my antennas bing. And melanated beings, understand, your hair, our hair is called 9 ether. Our hair are antennas. These are antennas. So when I hear you say something, next time I hear you say it, what you say is in direct contradiction. I'm like, ding, 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 ding. Call them spidey senses. Call it whatever you want. I'm already on guard, like, hold on, that's not what he said. That's like another individual who I've always, if you go on my TikTok page, you'll see a video of my bedroom ceiling. And I don't hide what I feel about him. I'm not a fan of Gene Deal. Anybody who wants to be a fan of him can do so. There was a time where I was willing to hear what he had to say, but I have a problem with someone who tells 2 truths and 7 lies. I don't like that ever evolving. I'm a stickler for, here's the thing. I will tell you the truth and you may not like it, but what you can respect with me, and you may not like me, what you can respect with me is that I'm always going to tell you the truth. If I tell you something today, it is not going to modulate. I do not care for you telling a story that Puffy and Ja Rule was up in the room, the two of them, and they was butt-ass naked, and they had on towels, and it was like, don't go in there for 20, 30 minutes because his cousin busted in the room. And how are you a security guard and his cousin bust in the room and push past you? How? What are you securing? If someone can push past, what are you securing? And now all of a sudden the story is, oh no, it wasn't just them, it was 2 girls too. Why does your story keep modulating? I have a problem with modulating facts because facts are facts. Facts are not opinions. Facts are not fiction. Facts are not feelings and emotions. They're facts. And let me tell you something about facts. They're generally consistent. When I hear you tell a narrative, and then what I don't like is that he tells 2 truths and 7 lies. I saw the check for Biggie's life. I saw the check. Oh, I didn't see no check. What? There are videos out there. These things live forever in infamy. There are videos out there. Why on earth are you modulating your story? When that happens, you know what all these ever-changing stories do? Create reasonable doubt. And they leave the victims stranded with no justice. That's what my problem is. What about the victims? Is everybody so interested in their 5, 10, 15 minutes of fame that nobody cares about the victims? Are you concerned with the effect that all of the mocking has on the lives of people that are at home going through this in real time? Listen, then how on here's why that Gene threw the guy in the piano story doesn't pass the smell test. I've heard this story. I heard this story originally years ago. There was no push, throw the guy in the piano in the story years ago. And guess what? How could you throw the guy in the piano when you're in a suite? You have a front door to that hotel suite. How you get in? If you're securing someone in a suite, and we both know that they're not getting run-of-the-mill Howard Johnson rooms, they're not getting Hilton hotel rooms, they have massive suites. You made it from the front door of the room all the way into the piano. Why? If I'm securing a facility or I'm securing a space or people, why would I drag someone that I'm questioning the authenticity of your right to be here? I'm going to pull you into the sacred space instead of out? That no make sense. That no make sense. That not gonna make it, star. No, it not gonna make it. He clearly pushed past and got in the room, and this our incarnation of the story. See, I've been watching for years. I'm not talking about some videos he might have made last week on Art of Dialogue. I'm talking about when there was no Art of Dialogue. Those videos back in the days on Doggy Diamonds TV and all those. See, I'm not new to this. This is my life. I hear the stories because this is connected to my existence. And trust me, when the story modulates, it not pass the smell test. It don't pass it. I've listened to too many of those stories. Facts change. I got a problem with that. When you do that, you are setting up a scenario where not just spectators, victims, and things like that are watching, attorneys are watching. The attorneys, investigators are watching. They take all of this misinformation, add it together, and then guess what? Reasonable doubt. It creates reasonable doubt. And what happens in the end? The victims get nothing. Meanwhile, everybody else gets this, that, 5 minutes of fame, 10 minutes of fame, self-aggrandizement. They throw stuff off. Like, we live in a day and age where you almost can't even guarantee who you're speaking to unless you're on FaceTime. Like, my lack of trust has grown to such a degree. You basically got to FaceTime me. And don't FaceTime me without my permission. But if you FaceTime me, I'm looking at you. So I don't have to see a phone number that says Shaniqua calling because you done cloned Shaniqua's number. And you talking to me and you use AI to sound like Shaniqua. And so I think I'm having a conversation with Shaniqua. And guess what? No, ain't no Shaniqua nowhere around. Too many things to not trust in this world nowadays. Yeah, and see, and here's the thing. I don't use, and I was talking about this with my daughter today. That's why I do my channel the way I do, because I'm not in the gossip landscape. I consider myself press. I want to tell thought-provoking stories. Now, on times, there are videos where I just have conversations with you guys. And we may start out on a particular topic, and then once we've discussed that topic, it evolves into conversation with you guys because I enjoy being here with you guys. You guys add value to my life, and I hope and pray that I am equally adding value to yours. However, I'm not in the gossip space. I am discussing a lot of topics. This particular topic, because it involves my life. It is a lot of heaviness wears on me daily. You want to know why? Because all of the stories of the victim, and am I saying everyone that reached out and said they were a victim is actually a victim? I can't say that. While I can't say they're not, I can't say that they are. It remains to be seen. There is an investigative process that needs to take place. But here's what I know. When a big attorney makes a 1-800 number, come ye, come all. If you have questions, of the 1-800 number thing is so gimmicky. Yes, I'm a victim. Angela Carrington, are you asking if I was a victim of Puffy? Is that what you're asking? Let me know, because I'm not sure. If your name seems new to me, I'm not familiar with your name, so drop a comment. Are you asking me if I'm a victim of Puffy? Yeah, I am a victim. I'm a victim. He shot me in my face 25 years ago. You see this tattoo? There was a time where I was going through so much emotional pain that the only way for me to overcome the emotional pain was to get. I asked them, what's the most painful area to get a tattoo? And they said, in these bony prominences. I said, give me a tattoo right there. I had to go through this physical pain to overcome the pain that was in my heart and my soul. Yeah, I had to go through that. Shout out to Auntie Leah for being such a blessing. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Auntie Leah said, I definitely respect your input because of your expedience. Your word carries major weight. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate you. God bless you. You understand what I'm saying? People are coming in, they're having their. Thank you. Yeah, it was definitely art of dialogue. I've never talked to Cam Capone. And here's the thing, so many people, I had to just go in on this guy on, the place I can't stand, Instagram, child. I don't like that smutty alleyway, but whatever. I had to go in on this guy because he's in there and he's writing all this stuff and trying to, the woman who got shot said, blah, 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 blah. I like, when I say I went in on him, I went in. I said, shut your mouth. I DM'd him. Because, see, I don't play that back and forth game. I don't do gossip. I don't do wanton disregard for facts and honesty and do disinformation and argue in the chat. I'm not doing that no more. I had that with one lady. I'm not going there no more. This lady was relentless and big stupid. I DM'd him and said, yo, shut your effing mouth. You don't know anything about me. You do not know. You think you sitting here telling, what is your dog in this fight? Who are you? What part of the club were you standing in? How dare you challenge me on the facts of this thing here? He then cops out with this little answer like, oh, I'm sorry. I saw something and you said you didn't like him. So this and that. You saw that where? I said, cite your sources, boo. Where did I say that? Put a link and the minute counter for where I said that, because you lying. I said, you better go ahead and delete that response or I'm in your neck. He was like, okay, sorry. Big grown black man. What are you spraying misinformation for? Because guess what? There's videos out there. And while I'm not judging anybody, there is never a word that I say that anyone is confused about. If I say, hey, diddle diddle, the cat in the fiddle, the cow jumped over the moon, I am so passionate that you know everything I said. You can cite that thing. You can stick a pin, stick a fork in it, it's done, and there's no ambiguity about what I say or mean. So why are people making things up? Why are people making things up and putting them out there in the lexicon? What is this misinformation? Why are people out here being the Donald Trump of this conversation? They're victims. You know how hard it is? Let me tell you something. I know what the victims who finally got the courage to speak up and come out and contact an attorney and tell their story and have these lawsuits drafted and they're out in the public field, even if their names are not attached to it. Do you know what it feels like for people to make a mockery out of you when you finally speak up? And then people say, oh, well, if this happened, why didn't they speak up? This is why. This is why people don't speak up, because everybody makes a mockery out of them. Everybody takes it upon them to gaslight, to have fun, to make ridiculous jokes. These are people's lives. These are people's lives. These are people with children. These are people with jobs and families that when they hear someone make a mockery out of their expression of pain, they still have to go to work. And then y'all say stuff like, oh, I don't go to that restaurant no more. It's this lady in there, she has stank attitude. How you know that lady in there ain't one of the victims? How you know? typically when you encounter people that seem to have an attitude, that is primarily because they have unresolved trauma and pain in them, and it is spewing out. I can't tell if I had $1 for every time somebody said, well, why they ain't speak out then? Why they ain't speak out? Because they don't want to be gaslit. They don't want the entirety of their existence to be called into question. They don't want people to try to dox them. They don't want people to make a mockery out of their pain and be laughing on the internet about it. They have a problem with that. And I don't blame them. I don't like it either. You know how much of that I endured over 25 years? I had to create a docu-series on helping people. My docu-series is not about talking about him. That was the one story I didn't want to push. My director, my daughter, my girlfriends that I ran it by that knew about the secret project were like, oh no, Eb, you got to put your story in. And so mine was going to be last. 13 episodes, mine was going to be last. They said, are you crazy? You have to put your story first to hook them. I didn't want this to be about me. SHOT is about survivors helping others through. Helping others through. I'm not here to be like, oh, look at me. I've had enough of that. Trust me, it's not easy. People still have an inherent, we are a speck of dust on earth in the grand scheme of things. I think God allows us to go through experiences and trials and tribulations because he is exemplifying whether we come through it with strength and power and resilience and all of that and fortitude, or if we fail our way through it and we have to repeat that cycle. Life is a big school. Life is a school. And so the people inserting themselves in, and not for the betterment of the victims, survivors, but for their own self-aggrandizement. What are you getting? What is your grade in this class of school? What is your grade in this class? This dude said, I'm doing it for Pac. What? I see a lot of people having discussions about the book, calling things into question and also using semantics. Let's take the overt things that people want to pick apart out. Let's dissect this, because I've listened to a lot of interviews. I watch YouTube all day. I listen to a lot of interviews. Let's pick some things apart. Whether you feel like one incarnation of the book is real or the other is real, or neither books are this, or they contain elements that are true. I see a lot of semantics being orchestrated. People are using word spells. It is my sincere belief. See, I keep telling people, I do not go by words. I go by energy. I don't care if you're on a TV screen, computer screen, or standing in my face. I can feel, smell, sense your energy way before you open your mouth. Way before. I have a spirit of discernment that is so intense. Is it a perfect thing? No. God is still working on me. I'm still growing in it. But baby, mine's sharper than sharp. Like sharper than Ginsu. If you know, you know. Okay? Slice, dice, and Ginsu knife. Mine is sharp. And one thing I cannot unsee when I see somebody as a liar. I don't want to use those cutesy words as, spoken mistruths or their version of the story. When you're a liar, I've seen too many. And here's my assessment of what has taken place. Let's just focus on the books for now. Here's my assessment of what has taken place in regards to the books. In regards to the books, it's my assessment that, and we know these things to be what was stated. I'm not making things up. I am using the information that was provided, and I am doing my own assessment. Initially, Kim wrote out some journal entries, diary entries, notes to make a book, an outline, whatever incarnation. She wrote some things to espouse what she has been enduring, what she has seen. What I know is a woman scorned will burn a house down. No left eye. You understand what I'm saying? A woman scorned will burn it all down to the ground, including telling on herself. I see people saying, why would she put these things about herself? Because guess what? Some people are not ashamed of their sexuality. Some people are not ashamed of their proclivities. Some people may not start out that way, but then eventually they do things and they say, hey, this is me. This is what it is. And they also understand, in order to give an air of complete and total transparency and truth, they gotta tell on themselves too. Because guess what? None of us are going to sit here and act like, with all these years connected to this man, she was completely unscathed and did nothing. How's that possible? See, the thing about DNA, about deoxyribonucleic acid, and how they, you know that old saying, there's no such thing as the perfect unaliving? Because the way we were created, things splatter, things speckle, things fall, things drop. We're living beings. Pieces of hair fall off. There are probably hair particles that fell off right here that I'm not aware of. They're not visible to the naked eye. But if you go looking for them, you will discover them. So when you are close to the scene of a crime, you're going to get some UD splatter on you. Okay? And I'm saying this theoretically. And so while we're not talking about literal, we're talking about figurative UD, you're going to get some on you. When you're with a smarmy, grimy person who's doing some stuff, eventually, unless you make a hardline stance, no, I'm not with this, and you out, you're going to get some on you. Okay? And she understood the dichotomy of, if I'm going to tell the truth, I got to tell it all. No usher. Okay? You have got to tell it all. That's the thing about the truth. Some people are not afraid of their truth. Some people have reconciled themselves with their truth, and they know, in order for me to get this story out, I have to tell it all. She thought it not robbery to lay her own self bare, because in some way, perhaps that was her own way of repenting to God for allowing herself to be a part of all this. These are speculations. This is the way I understand it and perceive it. I read pieces of the book before it was out. You heard me and Chris. He gave me pieces of the book, not just my portion, other pieces. And I said, my. People are very selective of what they want to believe. It's so ironic when she says the description of how J-Lo came over and said, why did you shoot that lady in the club last night? We got security for that. Why you had to shoot her? People are glossing over that like, nothing to see here, guys, nothing to see. But guess what part they're not glossing over? Oh, them butt plugs, they all up in that. It speaks more of who people are as a whole than the butt plugs. We know butt plugs exist. You're aware of what they are. I'm aware of what they are. People are aware of what they are. So why so juvenile that that's the part of the book that you believe? Like, of all the foolishness, this woman says he punched her and knocked her out, broke her arm. She woke up in a private hospital. People speculate, believe that part. But then when she says, I was a part of it, I had to sleep with these people, I participated, I'm going to name my child a strong Christian name to hopefully diminish some of to eliminate the bad vibes that might get on him. If the part of the book in when she says, he said she had to sleep with other people is to be believed. And clearly we know they have freak offs. That's not a secret to anyone, and nor is anyone so foolish to believe that, no, that's not possible. So you're going to tell me you don't think she was in a freak off? Really? I know chicks that freak off with guys for less than that. Okay? Let's cut the shenanigans. Two things can coexist simultaneously. I'm tired of telling people that. Two things can coexist. This book could be fact, and it could be slightly altered because someone had ulterior motives. Two things can coexist simultaneously. Why do adults have so hard a time with this concept? I really need to understand. We all know what Mama said. Like, exactly, Angelica. Whatever is done in the dark comes to light. What good would it be if this woman did not admit? Because guess what? There are videotapes. They went in that house, they subpoenaed and took all those videos. Guaranteed she's on quite a few of those videos. So what good would it be if she told her truth and told a book and it didn't have any of the facts on it about her? Then we'd have to question it. Why so weird with that? Why can't we understand that? Why is that not a foregone conclusion? She understands, hey, there are things I did. Perhaps I was delusional. Perhaps I had some of this toxic baby oil and it made me more suggestive to things that I wouldn't typically do. We don't know how she said he introduced her to it. As far as the other big things, we don't know what motivated her to go with it the first time. How many chicks right now, and dudes, because there's some metro schmexuals out here that's living off of women. How many women have been in a relationship with a man who they outgrew? You woke up one day, you rolled over and looked at him like, oh my God, I can't stand the way he chews. Nothing, what am I doing here? But you had a quality of life established by now after years with this person. And you didn't want to upset the apple cart because your mentality was like, I don't want to be alone. It's bad enough what I got in here. I can speak for who I got in here. I don't know what's out there. It's going to take a long time before I could just get in a relationship again. I got kids. I don't really want no weirdos around my kids except for this weirdo that helped make them. And then you stick it out. Not because you want to be there and you still in love or you hope that this thing is going to rebuild, but you're like, I've done so much work. Am I going to give this all up to start all over again with the expensive cost of mortgage and rent? And, well, that is my kid's father. Hopefully I won't. At least I get time out with my girlfriends and I go out and I go on vacation and I get time away from him. At least I have some semblance of life that I enjoy. All right, girl, just suck it up and stick it out. Am I saying anything that's foreign to any of these women and men in here? Am I speaking truths or am I speaking BS? Please, in the comments, tell me. Oh, I'm not come for play at all. I am speaking facts. All in our own life, we know that. I see people on the internet all day. Why she ain't say nothing? Why she ain't speak up? Heifer, you still at your job and you gotta ask, hello, can I go to the bathroom? And you a big 50-year-old. And you're asking people, can you go use the bathroom to do bodily functions that strange person has nothing to do with? You on your job for 7 years, talking junk about the boss in the staff lounge and outside on your smoke break, but you won't ask for a raise. But you know what other people should do? Why? Why you not ask for a raise? Am I speaking facts or what? Everybody, if I was you, I would, and what you need to do, but they ain't doing it in their own life. Oh, I see you out there with them raggedy dudes. I see y'all. How many women have heard this? Oh, babe, look how she dressed. She out here with that short skirt on, looking on. She looked like a 304, babe. See, that's what I love about you, because you classy. You don't do that. We know what that is. That means he looking her up and down. But he gonna insult her because some women are so insecure. As long as their man is speaking negatively about another woman, they gonna take it. Yeah, look at her. You know me, boo. I'm classy. I don't get down like that. Meanwhile, your man done scoped her up down to the ground. And he gonna say, oh, let me go over here and see if they got some sneakers in this store. Let me see what sneakers they got on the shelf in Marshall's. And he gonna scoop around that aisle and hand off them digits. Have we all not heard that story? Okay. So why do some of us act dumb? See, let me tell you about me. If I meet a guy, or if it's a friend, it's somebody, a prospective suitor, anything, and we're talking, and the first time we say, yo, my baby mother's a biatch. Excuse me, sir. No. We don't do that over here, boo. If she's a biatch, she your biatch. You chose her. What was it about her that drew you to her? I will flip the script on them and say, so how often do you have such, if you're insisting that she's a woman of ill repute and of poor quality, how often do you pick women of low quality? What is it about you? What is it unresolved in yourself that you've not repaired that makes you choose subpar women? Do we need to have the discussion about this? Because guess what? Before I'm ever your woman, I'm a woman. I'm in a play them game there. You're not going to come here and tell me about your baby mother and the other baby mother and your ex-girlfriend and your ex-wife and they all bees. Why were you the common denominator? What did you do? Why are they all bees? What did you do? So let's have these honest discussions. If the woman told her story and laid herself bare, no matter how salacious it sounds or looks, she was giving that up. That was her repentance. That was her come to Jesus moment. That was her self-awareness. Like, look, to my children, I've done some things I'm not proud of, but I need you to know. In my absence, now I'm sure she was hoping that she put the book out while she was here. Well, for that final journal entry to say, oh my God, he got me. She understood the game she was playing. Had she not understood, she would not have taken the umbrance to wait till he was asleep, high as a kite, to go in his little vault, extract videos. You know, I'm going to use an old West Indian word, flim them off and put it on a flash drive and put the videos back as a means of protecting herself, to give herself some exit strategy. That was her golden ticket to exit stage left. People acting like it's impossible. Why would a woman say these things about herself? The very same woman who took a picture where she was on his shoulder on one side and Cassie was on the other side. Because she understood, I'm a grown A woman and I have the ability to make a decision about, I know the decision I made about the man I was with. The woman said, I came from Columbus, Georgia. I always knew I was going to be somebody. I'm in Atlanta. Columbus is a small town in South Georgia. She said, I want to be somebody. So she took a chance and went up to the big city. Y'all know what y'all say about us in all these towns all over the country. Them old New York City slickers. You think a Southern Nirvana. Give me 1 second here. See what passion does? Spit went down the wrong throat. I believe that too. That's what I believe, Angelica. Hold on 1 second. No. Enemy got me out here choking, y'all. You see how the enemy try to take you out when you speak truth to power? Speaking truth to power, I reject any negativity coming through my computer screen. Ooh, but you feel what I'm saying? This woman thought it not robbery. The maturity in her, when most women are in a relationship and they don't want their man to see his ex when they're doing the switch off for the kids. This woman stood in a picture with her man's new woman with a smile on her face, radiating sunshine. That's a woman who was done. She was done. And she was staying by to help this young girl who didn't have a clue what she had gotten into. She was done. She knew this young girl didn't know what she got into. And she said, there was nobody to guide me, but I'm going to stay by and guide her. Do you know what measure and quality of woman that is? How many people have that in them? I got it in me. I got it in me. My husband, the man I will love for eternity, my soulmate. We were young. We thought we knew it all. He thought he knew everything. I thought I knew everything. And we both Geminis, born the same day. Ivana, bring me a napkin, please. We born the same day, 3 years apart. He's 3 years older. We thought we knew everything. And the minute we hit a hard road, he stepped out. Not to quote Jay-Z, but he thought he was getting a nut and he got a nut in. What? And so I have a bonus daughter. Now, he tried to keep it a secret at first because, you know, what do they all do? Keep it a secret. But when you move and you epitomize God. God is the center of my life. When you walk with the strength and the fervor of God, he said, faith is the evidence of things unseen. I knew something was going on, but I didn't know what. But this child was unseen. I kept saying to him, like, yo, what's going on? What's going on? Until I had this chick call me and try to curse me out. And I said, oh, there you go. There we go. Because when people are trying to jockey for position, see, we know the age-old story. There's always some chick who thinks she's going to throw a shot of hip on your man and snatch him away. You think a shot of hip keeps anybody? I think we're all grown enough to understand a shot of hip ain't never kept no man that didn't want to be kept. For everybody that think they got the slip and slide, wash, baby, there's somebody else who look like a plain Jane. She ain't got no face beat on. She got a little ponytail. She owe herself about 3,000 crunches that will sashay, and he will abscond with her for all your face beat, Gucci bag, that face thin, waist trim. A shot of hip ain't never kept no man. Now let's keep that a buck. What keeps a man is love. I'm not saying he's not fallible and he's not foolish and he won't make a mistake. But what sustains a thing is love, understanding, and something different. So I had to back him down and say, yo, what's going on? Something going on? Something you ain't tell me. You might as well come clean with it because I already know something's going on. And if I have to hear it in the street, we're going to have a problem. You might as well let me know. And so he came out with it. I said, I want to see her. Bring her to me. My boy came up with every excuse. The woman did not want to be seen. She didn't want to be seen. So it wasn't until she was about 4 or 5 that I finally came to see. I said, bring her to me. We're going to have a problem if you don't bring her. He went and brought her. I was at my grandmother's house. She brought the little girl up the porch. The mother stayed all the way to the curb. I said, why are you standing down there? What you doing? Why are you standing down? Why you on the curb? No, it's not that. I said, come up here. Cut the shenanigans, please. What are you doing? Come up here. Why are you standing down there? Come here. Your child is here. Come here. So she came up and I reached out and I said, hey, how are you? And I gave her a hug and she kind of was pulling back a little. And I said, what? What happened? She said, oh my God, the man always a talk about you and say, you're different. Boy, you're really different for true. I said, why? You expect me to come and war up with you and have a thing? For what? She exists already. She's here. I'm not the Alpha nor the Omega. God ordained for her to exist. Who am I? Who am I? I said, the common denominator here is this man. That's the common denominator. My husband, we all love him in some way. He's the common denominator. Let's everybody get past yourself. Get over yourself. She exists now. We are family. You inserted yourself into my family, so you're a family. You're part of the family now. This woman looked at me like, she was so shocked. She was so shocked. Listen, I don't have time to waste my time. Who am I? What I look like? I love God. I hate this kid. What the? Is that the ideal way that I wanted my marriage to work? Absolutely not. But I'm a big girl with big girl panties on. Perhaps God called for that seed and that egg to come together for this child to grow up and produce a child that will heal the world. Who am I to stand in between that? I don't walk through this earth having ownership of anybody, not even my children. God gave me them to steward them to adulthood. I am to raise them. I am to nurture them. I am to educate them. I am to love them. I am to give them everything and gird them up to adulthood. That's my job. That's my job. Oh, it's all the way grown. When I tell you, I took care of after that and later on in life, we separated. Listen, this man refused to divorce me. We went on with our lives. He had another girlfriend for a long time. Guess what? I took care of him for the rest of his life. That was my best friend in the whole wide world. And I was woman enough to know although we understood when we met that there was something there and that we were meant to be together. I don't possess humans nor nothing. I don't possess humans. I understand that everything, if I am a true steward of the word of God, everything is for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. He was my lifetime. One day, when he was sick towards the end, he was in the hospital on the phone with the daughter. Doctors came in his room, wanted to speak to him. He said, I'll call you back. The doctors want to talk to me. She was like, oh, no, just keep me on the phone. It's no big deal. Keep me on the phone, because they were nosy. They wanted to hear what the doctor was saying. He put them on mute and he talked to the doctors. And then when the doctors left, he came back on and they said, so what did the doctor say? And him being a comedian, he said, hey, what's new? He said, I need a new kidney. Anybody got one to spare? He was a jokester. Anybody that knew him knew that. This man had a raucous, hearty laugh that was so amazing. He light up any room. He was a ball of joy. Instead of laughing, understanding this man is laying in the hospital on what would eventually be his deathbed, and you insisted to stay on the phone when the doctors came to talk to him. And when you said, what did they say? He said, hey, I need a new kidney. What's new? Anybody got one to spare? You should have been like, I'll see. I'll put one on my tab or some joke. Instead, you want to know what they said? Your blood clot, yo. You want my daughter kidney? You better go call your little son, your little favorite son. I go ask him for him kidney. You fit dead if you're waiting for my daughter kidney. What? This man called me bawling and crying. Bawling. I was like, what, Roger? What happened? What happened? Did they say something else? Like, what happened? He said, oh God, Tanya, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. And I'm like, what? Sorry for what? What happened? Talk to me, Roger. It's okay. Calm down. Whatever it is, we're going to get through it. What happened? He cried so long, I let him cry. When he finally was able to get the words out, he said, he told me what happened. He said, I made a joke. I just said, I need a new kidney. Anybody got one to spare? And they literally cursed me out in front of the other people in their house on speakerphone and told me I am to be unalive if I'm waiting for her to give a kid. He would listen, he would never ask. He would never ask. They cursed him out. And I'll tell you something that I don't normally tell anybody. When he had the massive heart attack and they told us to come because they didn't think he would last long. And my son got there first, and his mother was there first, and my son flew in the next day, and I flew in the day after. My son drove up that night, and I flew up the next morning. And when I was in the hospital, I was there by his side talking. I was his healthcare proxy. I was and it just so happens that the young lady and her mom flew in the next day. My son said to me, "Ma, step away and let them talk to daddy." I said, "No." Now, he's my husband. That's your dad. You don't know all the conversations we have. You don't know that just the other day, these people told him he should be unalived if he's waiting for a kidney from them. And it's not lost on me that heartbreak caused him to all those things, because a few days later he had the heart attack, maybe a week. So I said, no. My son was like, "What? Stop being a hater. Let them talk." I said, whatever they got to say to him, they can say with me here. I don't have to leave. And my son didn't understand. My son was like, "Yo, that's wild. You a hater, Ma." And I was like, "Say what you want. This is my husband. This is my husband." You know what the lady ended up doing? Because my son tried to get a little froggy with me. I know it was a very emotional position. His father was laying on life support. He tried to get a little froggy. I was like, "Get out of my face. I don't care what you say. This is my husband. I got the final say here." The lady went outside in the hallway. And then the young lady, the daughter, my bonus daughter, stood right there. And I said, I need to reach out I got to get everybody here. I need to call Simone and Doreen. And you know what she said? Don't call her. I hate that girl. She stole my dad. And I told you, he went on to have another relationship. She said, "I hate that girl. She stole my dad." Excuse me? Excuse me? I said like this to her mouth. "Shut your mouth. Don't ever let me hear you say that again. How dare you? How dare you?" I said, the common denominator for that man right there is that we all love him. You don't have a say in this. I said, and it was the first time ever, and I'm the type of person, I'm going to check you. I don't hold no grudge, but I'm going to check you. I said, you stole Devon's father and your sibling's father. So shut your mouth. Don't ever let me hear you say that again. You are all his children, and Simone is his child too. Although Simone was a stepchild, but she was his child too. He was with Simone's mother for years, and he raised Simone. And while he was with Simone's mother, he would bring Simone to my beauty salon, and I would do her hair. I did her hair for the first time for her 5th grade graduation and all throughout the years. She would come and take her brothers out and go hang out with them and all this way before Nirvana came along. So how dare you have the audacity, after you just cussed this man out and told him he should be unalived, to now say you don't want Simone to come here. She stole your dad. You and your mother need to have a conversation. That's what needs to happen. I said, you're not going to have this discussion within his earshot. They say that when someone is in a coma, the last thing to go is the hearing. You're not going to step aside. You're not going to have this conversation for him to hear this. I made her step aside. I checked her. She went out there with her mama. You know what the lady was in the hallway doing? Telling my son, don't be mad at your mother. As much as it hurts me, I have to admit something. Don't be mad at your mother. She's right. She wants to protect Roger. She doesn't know what. After you told this man he should be unalived and a week later he have a massive heart attack, you think I trust you to be in his ear like, go, let go and go? No. And it's a different kind of strength. It is. I know it's not common. By no stretch of imagination, but I told y'all before, nothing about me is common. Nothing about me is average. Nothing. The woman went in the hallway and literally said to my son, Don't be mad at your mother. She's right. I'm going to admit to you what we said to him. And literally stood there and told my son what they had done to him and what they had said. When we were in the car on the way back to the hotel, my son was like, Mommy, I'm sorry. I said, it's all good. It's all good. But like I told you, that's my husband. Because guess what? It may be your parent, but you don't know everything about the discussions your parents have. You got to remove the title and give them grace and mercy and treat them like a man and a woman that got pains, laughter, joys, heart, trauma, everything that you might not know about. Trusty Dusty producer, you down here? Turn that air on, please. I'm having a private summer, y'all. Private summers. Brought to you by Menopause. But you understand what I'm saying? God calls us to be bigger than ourselves. He calls us to get out of our own way, stop being petty, and grow up. It is time for us to grow up. Listen, in case people are not paying attention, the writing is on the wall. You see the toppling of Babylon right here? We're in the midst of the toppling of Babylon. You see France, Florida with Hurricane Helene, with this one, that one, knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone, where everything is running down the road in a mud flood, where you're working second job and you're doing the most because you want this car and you want to stunt on people because your homegirl got this car and she's shady and you had lent her $2,000. She never gave you back your $2,000, but she showed up with a new car. And so now you're like, oh, you owe me 2 G's and now you got a new car? Oh, let me get this car I've been saving up for because I got a stunt. You see them lovely cars y'all saving up for, and you done spent your money and you got the top of the line. And if you look on TV, you see all them cars flowing down the street river with zero value. Let go. Suspend your attachment to things. We are in the final days. Y'all better pay attention. God is giving us the benefit of seeing the wicked crumble and fall. Don't make no mistake about it. All of this is going to be gone in a matter of time. What is the difference between us and North Carolina? Ain't it in the United States? You see what happened in North Carolina? The roads broke apart. There's no way to get in and bring aid. And when people were flying their helicopters in to bring aid in this country, them Black Hawk helicopters was swooping them away. And they came in, brought sustenance, dropped it down to the ground for the people to get all that stuff. You saw what the Black Hawk helicopter did in North Carolina? Flew over there and flew low and turned its propeller so big, it blew everything to smithereens. They don't want them to get help. What don't y'all understand? Let's stop playing games here like God ain't talking to us all, while people on the internet aggrandizing themselves at the expense of friggin' victims. For those of you who, and I'm going to get the lawsuits and I'm going to read them on this channel. For those of you who are not aware of some of the facts in the lawsuit, and I'm not going to call no victim that give these kind of specific facts, and there's a thread through them if you just listen. A man was a security guard working at one of his events. This is the allegation. This is what the lawsuit says. He was a security guard, tall, big, strapping, attractive man. He went over to him and said, hey, I want you to work with me. We getting ready to go on tour. You're going to work on my tour. You got the job. He's like, yo, as much as I love that, that's fly, thanks, but I can't. My father has a terminal illness. I have to stay close to home to take care of my dad. What a noble gesture. You know how many people are unalived and nobody's around them? They're facing their own mortality alone in some hospice and no family member around to say, cat, dog, fly. What a beautiful thing for a young man to say. He could have said, oh, this is an opportunity of a lifetime. Let me go get this Skrilla. He said, because the Bible says, Ephesians 6:1, honor thy mother and thy father, for thy days will be long. And so he was doing why, thank you, sunshine. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Honor thy mother and father. And so he was foregoing what could have been the opportunity and job of a lifetime for a chosen profession, but he wanted to honor his parent that gave him life in this last season of his own existence. That was a man who had enough integrity to say, I will not choose money over enjoying and experiencing this last time, this little time left on this, in this realm of life, on this earth with the parent, my father who gave me life. I will choose this experience. I will stay by his side and take care of him in his final days. Because the Bible says, once a man, twice a child. The way they took care of us, we will have to take care of them someday. For those of you who ain't right with your parents, you better get right if you know what I know. Because while you thinking, she get on my nerve, I ain't taking care of her, she might have to take care of your grown behind. So he was like, what? Come on, man. You could get somebody to take care of him. You could come on. I need you on tour with me. The dude was like, nah, bro. While I appreciate it, I can't. According to the lawsuit, you know what this sucker did? He's like, all right, pat him on his back, walk off. Come back after a little while. Hey, have a drink. He like, what you mean? I'm working. I'm on duty. I can't have no drink. Nah, man, it's my party. Have a drink. I give you permission. So the guy's like thinking, oh, he cool. He has a drink. One of them special drinks. The guy said he instantly started to feel dazed, confused, and lethargic. He then turns to him and says, and I'm paraphrasing, oh man, you okay? You look a little dizzy and lightheaded. Why don't you come on and get some air? Escorts him outside where a van is. The van doors fly open. He shoves him in the van and gets in the van and takes him in the van. Now, we as a people don't give enough respect to grown men who are victimized or boys. You know how hard it is for an adult man to be in a relationship with a woman and she's like, he's so moody. What's his problem? Why are you acting like that? He might be going through. A woman is supposed to be a soft place to fall for a man. While he's out there doing, a man will be able to give you all of his manhood and masculinity and his covering if when he is going through, you are a safe place for him to fall and you don't use it back against him. How does a straight man tell his woman, I'm going through, I'm having a tough time. I keep having flashbacks of when I was raped. How many of y'all would stay with him? Let's keep it a buck. You know, how many would stay with him? Everybody in the comments, how many of you would stay with a man who said I was raped by another man? And I want the honest truth. Indeed, listen, when you got people out here who is sparing no expense, stopping at nothing and taking everybody and anybody, who has a penchant for people who don't want it, that's a spirit. They call that a succubus and an incubus. That is a spirit, a demonic spirit. Instead, man tell you something, he went through something in his life, you like, talk to me, baby. I love you. Why don't you ever open up to me? Tell me what's going on. I'm here for you, honey. I got your back. Talk to me. The minute he talked to you, Somebody's sending negative vibes to me. I cancel any assignment of negativity. I cancel any iniquity, any witchcraft, any spells, any holes, any binds, any evil, any witchcraft, anything that is not of my highest and best interest and order. I cancel any assignment. I cast you into the depths of hell from whence you came, never to return again, for I'm a child of Yeshua, protected and covered by the blood. I cancel the assignment. I rebuke you back to the depths of hell from whence you came. I put you in an envelope marked return to sender, never to come back to me again. Flee from me. Get thee behind me, Satan. You with your man? Come on, baby. Open up to me. Tell me about yourself. You never tell me those things. What's on your mind? I can always tell. Sometimes you go into this space. Let me in, baby. What's going on? Tell me. I love you. I got you. I'm your boo. First time something happened you don't like, yeah, well, you ain't said that when blah, 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 blah. Why? Why are we doing this? What part of the game is that? What part of the game is that? The Bible says a man must leave his mother and father and cleave to his wife. You know what a cleave is? Baby, cleaving is an extra tight. And here's the deal. You're not a wife once you get married. You are a wife in your own countenance as a single woman. That is how a man, because the Bible doesn't say when a man findeth the girlfriend and marry her. The Bible says when a man findeth a wife, he findeth a good thing and get favor from the Lord. You have to be a wife already. You don't start being a wife once you get a ring. You are a wife already, and that's how he recognizes you to say, yo, that one right there, something different about her. That's my wife. I can't tell you how many times I hear women say, what I'm doing that for? I ain't your wife. I ain't your wife. I ain't doing all them things. How will you ever get viewed as a wife if you're not one already? And you don't understand how you was with man for 5 years. I've been with him for 5 years. And then he breaks up with you. 6 months later, he meets a chick, and a month later, they're married. And they done been together 10 years now. Happy old life. Because guess what? She was a wife when he found her. You were stuck in your ways. We have to be what we seek in the world. That means I'm not telling anybody they cannot talk about this or any other case. What I'm saying is when you come to the topic, do so with respect. Do so with care and consideration for the person who was victimized. This case has yet to be tried, and look at the circus that has ensued. How will we go forth to a court case that has a substantive and positive outcome on behalf of those victimized? Listen, I've been down this road before. That's why I'm disturbed, because this is worse than back then. See, the internet existed, but not in the capacity with which it is now. It was nothing like it was then. With the advent of what we have now in social media, oh my God, I don't have thoughts of this being, I don't know how this is going to work out. I don't. Everybody has taken this for Poppy show. Everybody has taken this for fodder, clickbait. Oh, let me run up some numbers with this clickbait. No, it's not okay. Sometimes my heart and my mind cannot rest at night because I see some of these things that's out here. And I see some of these things that people are saying. I'm like, yo, what is wrong? We're adults. Grow up. Are we 10-year-olds? When we were 10, our favorite line was, I can't wait till I grow up so I can fill in the blank. When I grow up, I'm a fill in the blank. Now we grown, everybody's a bunch of kids. I don't get it. I was dang near grown when I was a child. So ain't no way in God's green earth that once I attain adulthood, I'm going to be a child. No. That's my mother. My favorite word back in the days was, my favorite term was, I'm grown. I've been saying that since I was 13. I'm grown. Promise you. Ask my mother. Ask my sisters. I'm grown. When I was 13, I used to say that because that's what I felt like. I have never been average, run-of-the-mill, none of that. I know I am an old spirit. I can do so many things. You know what people say to me? Well, God, what can't you do? You know how to do everything. You know why? Because my spirit has existed in so many lifetimes. And every skill that was attached to whatever flesh house wore my spirit is stained on the spirit. I can do everything. I literally speak things into existence. You see this DITR, diamond in the rough, my reupholstery business. I never went to school for no reupholstery. I one day spoke it into existence. I could do that. And guess what? I did it. This back wall, I went to one of my girlfriend's house and she had this. I was like, oh, that's dope. Who did that? Oh, we paid this guy. He charged so. I was like, that's beautiful. Got off the highway, went to Home Depot. I did this. I can do anything. And guess what? I don't think I'm uniquely special in that way. I think all of y'all can do anything too. Here's the difference. I believe I can do everything. Y'all ain't trying. And I don't mean this no disrespect. I mean the world. People ain't trying. I can break down a sofa and rebuild it. I can build a sofa from scratch and other furniture. I built the IKEA lax closet system. I built my own. IKEA packs, excuse me, because I'm not going to IKEA and paying them buku dollars. I was like, no, I could do that myself. And I did it. There's nothing we can't do if we only believe. You have to speak those things that are not as though they are, and then they will be. We have to learn to manifest. I'll be manifesting peace and tranquility and sincerity and honesty in these people, especially people connected to this case. But I'm not getting, I don't want to feel like, oh, I love you too. I love you all. And don't think I'm disregarding your things. I'm an old soul. I love you guys so much. Trust me, when I tell you, you add value to me. Don't think when I'm talking, I'm not paying attention to the comments. I love you all. The dopest mod got y'all back. And when I tell you, I love the dopest mod so much. Love her so much. Y'all have no idea how she be checking on me, making sure I'm good. Yo, Ed, you this, that. You got this. Let me let you know. I love her. Love her. You guys are my family. And so when I speak, even if sometimes it comes across a bit harsh, it's because I'm speaking to my family. I love you. I want y'all to hear me, feel me. And if nothing else, take the words that I say and go deposit them somewhere in the world so this thing can spread. I love y'all. I'm very passionate. I don't mistake passion for rudeness. I don't mistake passion for, are we fallible as humans? Absolutely. We're fallible. Because here's the deal. When you're passionate, you bring a connection and a vigor and a belief system to a thing that the other person may not share. And in error sometimes, in the pursuit of that passion and espousing our point of view, sometimes we come across wrong. Sometimes we get it wrong. It doesn't negate the love, the care, the passion. Now, do we have a responsibility to be right and be our best self? Absolutely. Absolutely. Do we have a responsibility to do no harm? Yeah, because sometimes, And this is something I had to learn. It's that Brooklyn thing and then that Caribbean thing. We just say it. But I had to learn as we got older. Listen, that we just, I look at us, talk at us, say what's on my mind. I just don't mind how it come out. I just telling you is this. No, that's not okay. In the interest of doing God's work, you don't get to slay people. No, you do not. I had to come of that, and I had to understand that. Yeah, that Gemini energy is super different. I had to come of that level of awareness and understanding and say, you know what? I think sometimes my message comes across harsh. Let me change the way I'm delivering this message. I don't get to say how I feel. We have to give care when dealing with God's people. It is our duty to give care when dealing with God's people. And so I had to go back and be like, yo, if I ever said anything to offend you, or if I ever handled you in a way that was a little rough or hurt your feelings in any way, I apologize wholeheartedly. Never negate my message with the method of the message, or how. I don't want to hurt anybody in the interim, because then why else would I be willing to give you a message? We only give messages and give information where we feel a duty of love or kindness or care or respect. What do I have to gain by giving you information if I don't care about you? Because boo-boo, the Ebony that I am, the Natanya Rubin I am, I ain't giving you no information if I don't care. I don't cast my pearls before swine. Been there, done that, got a few t-shirts. Never again. Those are t-shirts I wear to clean the house. I ain't casting my pearls before swine. There are people attached to every one of these topics surrounding this case. We have to stop playing games with people's emotions and feelings and mental well-being, because guess what? Don't be surprised if you hear before we get to trial, before this case gets to trial, that victims have unalived themselves. Let me tell you something. What duty of responsibility will we bear? Especially those making a mockery of this. What duty of responsibility will we bear if somebody harms themselves because it was too heavy a weight to carry? See, it's one thing to carry a weight like this when it's secret and you haven't told anybody. It's a whole nother thing to carry when it's out in the open and everybody thinks it's funny. And we have to get out of this notion. I keep seeing on these podcasts and on these platforms and channels with our men and people in the culture and more hip-hop-esque channels that want to be, yo, I'll snitch, and you know what I'm saying? I don't want to send nobody to jail because you know I did a bid, and you know I don't like that house, so free my ninja, blah, blah, blah. Until he does it to your mother. And then send him down. We have to cut this shenanigan out. When are we going to get, we have to separate. And this whole notion of, yo, they're trying to take a man down, you know, it's blackmail, it's a distraction, all that. Get out of here with that distraction crap. If it's a distraction, why are you commenting? What is it about your ability to focus on whatever you think is important that renders you incapable of focusing in such a way that you have to stop, take away your focus from this other stuff that you deem important, to stop and utter, it's a distraction, so why are you here? Why are you here? If it's a distraction, move on way. I'm pushed down the road. Why are you here? Stop it with this, it's a distraction. Oh, they doing this. Well, did y'all know what else is going on in the world? Listen, multiple things can function and occur at the same time. We were taught how to multitask growing up. Your mother said, when I get back in this house, my house better be clean, the dishes better be washed, and blah, 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 blah. And guess what? Y'all get that house clean, the dishes be washed, y'all done put your mama beans on the stove, you made the pot of rice, and you seasoned the chicken. Stop playing and acting like you can't do more than one thing at a time. Oh, it's a distraction. Oh, y'all over here talking about this Diddy stuff. It's a distraction. Then move on down the road. You're only coming as a dissenter and a detractor to come and throw a monkey wrench in the discussion so we don't. It's a charlatan move. When I go like this and you don't see this hand over here because I'm a. Please, if you are distracted by a topic that comes up while other things are going on in the world, perhaps you have bigger fish to fry than to worry about this topic. Perhaps you have bigger fish to fry. And you may need counseling. You may need to go back to basic elementary education and learn how to multitask. We don't need you to stop in the middle of your day, your life, your parenting, your this, your that, to stop off on some page on the internet and be like, this is a distraction. Y'all over here talk about this and you don't know the fish came onto the beach in Guadalajara. Okay, boo. Go see about the fish them then. Go see about the fish them. What value are you adding when you stop and come onto a comment and say all this foolishness? No, you are trying to be a distraction. What you're saying is, oh, wow, how does this one situation, this one case, this one person garner all this attention? What about me? I need attention. I'm going to go in the comments and say something so everybody can then spew all their venom on me and I can feel like someone's paying attention to me. If you are so desperate for attention that these are the tactics you utilize, perhaps counseling would do you well. I know a number. I'll drop it in the comments. I'll give it to the dopest mod so she can drop it in the comments. Perhaps you need to consult one of these hotlines out here because clearly you're dealing with issues greater than what you're espousing. I personally know people that are disgruntled because there are so many of my videos out there. I'm getting too much attention for them. They say things like, well, she ain't important now. Her thing happened 25 years ago. And had anyone listened to me 25 years ago, we would be discussing none of this. Because perhaps he would have been incarcerated. Perhaps God would have visited him when he was in that 6x9 or whatever the dimensions of the cell were. Perhaps he would have gotten a dose of Yeshua, Allah, somebody, and changed who he was as a person. But since people pick and choose who they want to listen to, haven't we played this game already? Haven't we did this song and dance? Y'all still doing the same thing 25 years later, not listening to victims, not believing victims, questioning, why would he do that? He got money. Why would he do that? What you're saying is you're projecting your own insecurity about life and your overvaluing of having money and making it synonymous with being a good person. Like I said before, perhaps you need some counseling because having money is not inherent to being a good person. And being broke, by contrast, is not inherent to being a bad person. I know some brokey brokes with a heart of gold. I also know some wealthy jerks, a lot of them. A lot of them. So let's get into that. Two things can occur at the same time. Two things can occur simultaneously. Let's act like we know. Oh, absolutely. Succubus and incubus, baby. And it's a lot of them out here. For those who don't know what it is, one is a spirit of lust that wants everything they see. It's a sexual demon spirit on you that makes you lust after everybody and everything. And the other is a demon spirit that makes everybody and everything lust after you. Be mindful of your children who you say, go give Uncle Johnny a kiss. Give Auntie so-and-so a kiss. You may be making a succubus or incubus spirit pass on to them. Your kids ain't got to kiss everybody. Teach them how to give people a pound. Or just say hi. Hi, Auntie such and such. Hi, Uncle such and such. They ain't got to kiss them. Spirits and energies pass between people. I've seen demons jump through a room and land on different people. When they can't use that one person against you, wow, jump to the next one, next one. And here's what I always tell people. A demon, the enemy, shaitan, the devil, whatever you want to call it, can only jump into you if there is a seed of hate and evil and discontent in your spirit, that becomes a portal, a little vessel for him to jump into. You ever heard the term, the devil cannot enter your home but by your invitation? This flesh body is your home too. Let's protect our sons. Because people is out here lasciviously. There is a spirit over the realm. Can't you tell? Can't you tell? Some of y'all, go, pushing your kid. Go say hi to Uncle so-and-so. When a child starts pulling back, leave them be. Or you're setting up a notion where you're teaching your child to betray their own autonomy for the purposes of, you better act nice, you better be kind, you better be. You're teaching your child to open the floodgates and allow themselves to be victimized. When you don't allow a child to actualize their own autonomy. Because listen, kids are loving, and there's sometimes they'll see, and they'll be like, oh, hi, Auntie so-and-so, and they'll go give a hug themselves. You know what that means? The child perceives safety. Safety. But then there's other times where they're like, no, and the child is picking up on an energy, and you're forcing them to betray what is inherent and innate in them, their own self-protection. And then when they get a little older, you're like, why would you go over there? You went over there by more because you fast. No, you told her, betray your autonomy. How you feel doesn't matter. Submit yourself unto strangers and other people. That's what you've taught them. Why are you mad that that is how they manifest? You taught them that. They ain't got to give everybody a hug, and everybody ain't they play auntie. We got to rein that in too. You can have a play auntie and a play uncle because this person has proven themselves and you've vetted and time tested that person. But everyone in your little friends that you meet ain't somebody play auntie. No. Yeah, they say you acting up. We have to protect our children. I'm not judging any victim, but some of these people that were victimized in this case, especially the children, some of their victimization came at the hand of wanting an opportunity for, I want to be an actor. Here's what, most kids, very few kids, some kids will say, I want to be, Nirvana was one. Mommy, I want to be an actress. I want to do that. I want to be an actress and a model. Okay. And she actually used to be an actress and a model. But guess what? After so many auditions, and she got some stuff, she got a role. She did a commercial for a photographer studio. She did, listen. And they could have chose any number of kids. This was a highbrow photographer that did a lot of kids' videos. She wanted Nirvana. And baby, when I tell you, she was like, oh my God, who taught her this? She is a natural. When I tell you this girl directed her own photo shoot, she was like, is there a particular music you'd like to hear right now while you loosen up? My girl said, the moves like Jagger. When she was little, she was like 4. So there are some kids who will say, I want to do this. But 9 out of 10 times, the parent is pushing the kid into the industry, living vicariously through the kid. For whatever the kid has that the parent didn't, the parent is now using that and living vicariously. I heard Corey Feldman. You guys are familiar with Corey Haim and Corey Feldman, the two Coreys, and they were child stars, and they were viciously abused in the industry over and over again. I mean, horrifically. You know what Corey Feldman said the other day? He was on a podcast, and they said to him, he said something. He's like, yeah, I didn't get a chance to do such and such. Like, what? You should be happy. You got to be a celebrity and be in Hollywood. He said, yeah, I wanted to just be a kid. There's lots of things I want to do that I probably will never be able to do because I didn't have a choice in becoming a star. That decision was made for me before I ever had a word. He said, my first commercial, I was months old. Adults decided we're going to make this kid. He said, I'd never had a chance to be a kid. I was working and supporting a household when I was a child. There was no time off for me. When my friends were on the block skateboarding, I had to go to set. And then when I was on set and I was acting up and being a kid, I got in trouble for not being a professional. And then the other times, people who were adults and professionals were raping and molesting me. Go figure. Stop forcing your kids to be in things that you want to do. If you want to be an actress, there are community theater. Go act and leave your child alone. Leave your child and let them be a child. You want to be an actress or a model. Don't mind because you feel like you 10 cheeseburgers over what the size of models. They have plus size models. One day, me and my daughter went to an audition. We saw, trust me, you start to see this. She said, Mommy, I'm tired of seeing these same kids over and over again. Can we go get ice cream? I don't want to do this for right now. I just want to be a kid. I said, you ain't got to say it twice. You ain't got to say it twice. And we left. And when I tell you, one of my girlfriends, her son, Nirvana grew up with, they were same class. They've been friends their whole life. He continued in the acting. Y'all know who he is. If you saw the movie Till, the last movie, Emmett Till, the young boy that played Emmett Till, that's my girlfriend's son, Nirvana's friend. He just had a year and a half ago, he had a big Sweet 16. Well, not Sweet 16. What do boys call their Sweet 16? 16th birthday party. We were there. He is talented. He kept on. He liked it. He was another kid that wanted to do it. And when it's a child who wants to do it, I'm all for it. His mother gave up a lot. That's my homegirl. She's a big hairstylist, just like I was. She had a salon, everything. She gave it up so that she could go to California for sweeps, for, pilot season, so that he could get access to all the auditions and stuff. She gave up a lot for her child to be where he is now. He's done a lot. He's been in 50 million movies. He has done a lot, and he's highly accomplished. But guess what? It comes at a price. There's something, you sacrifice something for that. It's not necessarily a decision everybody wants to make. And I'm telling you, get closer to God. Get closer to God, y'all. Look at, wake up. That's right. Listen, look at, you see what's happening in France? You see what's happening in, I think it was, what was the other country? And it's happening in Mexico. Mud floods. You see some things that you think is a mountain? No, it is not a mountain. It is a petrified former giant animal, mammal, something, and it was all covered in the mud from a mud flood of back in the day, and it became petrified. And so what you think is a mountain is a tree that fell, is the shards of a tree. Pass a tree that fell. You see how the top of it looks jagged and it's shards? Now imagine if that was covered over in mud. It looks like a mountain. We had the Nephilim. We had other things on this planet that were huge. There are some places, palaces, look at the size of the doors. Who needs the door to be that tall? What was walking through that door for it to be that height? Stop letting, you see why they call it history? Because it's his story. To the victor goes the spoils. If somebody gets access to the information and they win the war, they get to tell you whatever they want you to believe. We don't even know our true power. I tell you one thing, the day somebody get under that Vatican City and get access to all them books and all that history, it's going to be another thing if we live to see it in our lifetime. Be kinder to people. Be gentler to people. Be considerate of people. Have empathy and sympathy and grace and mercy for victims. And look around your life. Who seems withdrawn? Who seems depressed? Who seems moody all of a sudden? They may be being victimized by somebody. Look in your own lives right now and see who's in your life. It might be your child. It might be your mate that's being victimized by somebody who they perceive themselves not to have power against. Look within your own lives. You could save a victim by catching it now. There was a thing back in the days where women, and I believe it's still going on now. I've heard stories where a girl would say, I don't like such and such, or pull away when her mama boyfriend in the house. And she like, you a hater, you just jealous. You jealous of me. I'm a grown woman. You a child. Stay in a child place. Meanwhile, that old smarmy smut bag you got in your house molesting your child. But because you want him so bad, because you can't stand to be alone, you can't look at your old rusty face in the mirror and be by yourself. Because you've been taught that your nether regions and your loins was your value. And if somebody ain't fiddling with your loins, then you don't feel valuable. So you're going to sit there and let your daughter be submitted unto this freak, disgusting person because you don't want to be alone. You know, you wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, where he at? And he like, you call his name and he like, oh, I was getting something to drink. Out your daughter's bedroom. But some of y'all can't stand yourself. Listen, I'm just preaching of what God gave me. Some of y'all can't stand yourself. And so, and I don't mean my nerd herd, but I mean whoever it's for. Who the cap fit, let them wear it. You can't stand to be alone. So you know something ain't right. You know something ain't right. And instead of protecting your child, you say something like, what you got them shorts on for? Trying to be ground. Go put the, don't be walking around here like. How about if you think this weirdo is looking at your daughter, get him the out. Because we are healthy, ample, melanated souls who some of us got body yada yada at a young age. I don't care what you got on, you can't cover that up. That's God's nature. But you're so worried about your man that you sacrifice your child for a man who ain't gonna want you anyway. Because guess what? He know you know. He know you suspect. But if you're willing to let him go with it, he gonna take it for as long as he can. And then he gonna be out for both of y'all. And I'm not saying both of y'all. He gonna get away from what he doing to her. And he gonna leave because why would he want you? You let him have it. I know I ain't preaching to nobody. I'm speaking facts. I know women that have told me. See, I was a beauty salon owner. I was a cosmetologist. Many a woman sat in my chair and cried and bared her soul. There is something about touching people's hair because your hair is antenna. This is 9 ether. These are our antennas. And when someone that is pure and full of peace comes and engages with your head and your scalp, people spill. I've been told the burdens I carry of people's tears and sorrow and sadness. Oh my goodness. Of women who were molested by their own fathers and brothers. And then as soon as they got away, they got old enough, they left. And the mother would not leave the man. Because she need her man. Molested your own child. And you, if y'all girls wasn't walking around here being all fast, come on. The trial won't be televised because the trial is in New York and New York courts do not allow cameras in. They don't even have still images. They won't even allow still images. Everything is going to be artist rendition. I'm not really sure why New York doesn't have court cameras in the courts at this juncture, but they don't. Perhaps that's a petition we need to start. Perhaps that's where we should direct some of this energy. If we are truly concerned about the victims, let's start an online petition and get a bunch of signatures to have, and it doesn't mean for this case it will happen, but if we start now, there's a good chance we can make it happen. And then we will all get to see. But those things come with care. Duty to protect. Guys, when I tell you, I don't be trying to be preachy or nothing. Not just because it's federal, it doesn't have it in any court. Because my case, the original one was in state court. They don't have it either. All of the footage we have from the case back then is all artist renditions. Now, one thing I will say about artist renditions, there's a limit on how much they can draw. But baby, if you go back and look at some of those artist renditions of my trial from back in the days, woo, honey, look like a demon in them pictures. I promise you, go look. Yes. If you're an artist, go get a job. Absolutely. Yeah. Artist renditions. It's not exclusively for federal, it's state as well. Yep. I would like to believe that it could be challenged. Oh yeah, guys, I wrote a book, A Shot in the Dark. By all means, go support your girl. You can find it on Barnes and Nobles. You can find it with the link right here from my publisher, Ingram. Well, I'm the publisher. Mrs. Wright Publishing is me. But through Ingram Spark on the platform where I published it, it's available on Kindle and quite a few other places where you find your books. If you're interested in creating a project and you want to write your own book, you can publish your book on my imprint. It would be my pleasure to help you. Send me a message, contact the Dopest Mod, send me a message, send me an email. The email is thedopestnerd@gmail.com, spelled the same way as the channel. And I would absolutely love to talk to you and help you with make that a reality. I just love humanity. I love our people. I love humanity. And like I said, I didn't choose this existence. I didn't choose it. I was chosen. God doesn't qualify the called. He doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called. And so he chose me to carry this, to be a vessel. And so whatever he imparts in me, I share. Do I add some of my own stuff in? Absolutely. Because I've had the experience in this lifetime. So I'm going to put my experience in it. But God gives me a lot and I share it. I don't do this to be preachy or long. I do this to just enlighten people. That's what the pursuit of my existence in this earth is, enlightenment. I named my child Nirvana Samadhi. Nirvana means the highest form of spiritual enlightenment, and Samadhi means the same thing in two different cultures. So when you look up Nirvana, you will see Samadhi. And when you look up Samadhi, see Nirvana. I believe in enlightenment. I believe that there's more to this world. There is a greater message out there if we just look deeper. Sometimes we don't get to, not sometimes, we don't get to choose who we're related to. Everything in life has some sort of challenge to it because life is a school. And in order for God to watch us elevate to our highest heights and attain the highest form of spiritual enlightenment, the truest elevation of enlightenment gives you nirvana. For us to ascend to the highest heights of who we can be as a person, God challenges us. Every time you go through a challenge and eclipse it and come out smelling like roses, and no matter how much the struggle is, you overcome it and you meet that challenge and rise to the occasion, you are elevating. You are ascending. I want us all to ascend. There's something greater out there. We don't have to be our lowest common denominator. We can rise to the top. I know sometimes the message we get from people that we are related to or live in proximity to or know at our job is like, I don't know why you be trying to be all that. You need to just get your job. Why are you always trying to be better than people? Why are you trying to be so big and bad? Why don't you just take what you got and settle? Don't listen to those people. Don't never let a person tell you who, somebody who ain't did it, tell you you can't. If I had $1 for every time somebody told me I can't, I've done a lot. Don't let a person who ain't shown and proved in their own life tell you you cannot. Because what they're really telling you is, I don't want you to be bigger in life than me. I don't want to have to stand within your proximity or beside you for people to compliment you and say and celebrate your accomplishments and say what a big thing you did your big thing. I don't want to have to hear that because I don't perceive myself to be able to do it. So I'm going to tell you you can't do it, because if you get bigger than me, then everybody's going to celebrate you and I'm standing over here. Stop listening to those people. They're not telling you for your own good. I don't know what you're trying to buy a house for. You might as well stay in apartments, girl, because you don't want to be having to clean up no snow and this. Don't listen to that. That is ninja mentality. Don't listen to those things. That's right. The devil cannot enter your home, whether it be your physical house or your house, but by your invitation. You have to invite him in for him to come in. So if the devil is harassing you, you need to get down on your knees and repent. For any sin committed is a sin against God. And now you understand why I don't lie. Because I'm not lying to you. I would be lying to God. I ain't got no time for it. He saved me. At death's door, he saved me. At unaliving's door, he saved me. I don't think so highly of anybody that I'm going to give them that and sacrifice my respect with the Most High. That's too important to me. Yeah, where are the children? Are we talking about Allie Carter? Listen, I believe wholeheartedly that she is a victim of a lot of people. I believe wholeheartedly what she says. Listen, about, I would say Nirvana was an infant. And I was telling people about adrenochrome. So mind you, this was a long time ago before it became popular. She was probably a baby, not even one. I was telling people about adrenochrome. People were like, what? Bro, that sounds crazy. Get out of here with all that. And now it's coffee table fodder. There are people in this world who have a penchant for child flesh. And we have this preconceived notion that they have to look this way and act this way and they this and oh no. Oh no. Some of the most evil in this world are suited and booted in a tie. They speak very well and they have positions and all that stuff. I'm not saying Joe Schmo and Pookie and Man don't do it, but you better believe the upper echelon of society, they do it too. When you hear about these underground tunnels and all this stuff and it sounds far-fetched, that's why they're able to get away with it, because you doubt everything. Oh, that sounds crazy. That sounds like a movie. Well, we talk about Hollywood. Art imitates life and life imitates art. Why is it so hard to believe? There are tunnel systems all over. Have you ever heard of the word Tartaria? It is believed that this is not even America, that this is Tartaria, and that there was a civilization here before America, and that they took over, we call it Columbusing, discovering something that exists already, taking it over, and calling it your own, and that it succumbed to the former mud floods. If you look at those olden pictures of like the 18 da-da-da-da-da in these big cities where people walk around in these big bouffant long skirts and these big hats and bustles very tight and parasol umbrellas and horse and buggy and all that stuff, when you start to see some of those still pictures, look around the perimeter of the picture. Look around the building, the top of the building. You'll notice it has this whitish kind of background because they have eliminated the background of the picture. Most of them are a lie. They will show you people walking around with horse and buggy. And then 4 years later, skyscrapers. But what they said, if you pay attention to the story, this is why, like I said, the Gene Deals and the other people of the world that's out here lying, all of those things pile up in my ear. Go look up when power tools were invented. Go look it up. They said power tools were invented in like 18 so-and-so. Now mind, remember when the enslaved people were freed? Get that date in your head. And then they said power tools were invented. And here's the long and short of it. They didn't necessarily need massive power tools because they had human beings to do the work. But once they had to free all the remaining enslaved people, now you need power tools. But then some of these cities, they say, the buildings are over 100 years old. So houseway and 200 years old. They will show you horse and buggy and shack. And then a few years later, a skyscraper. You built a skyscraper 5 years after power tools were invented? The math is not mathing. I need y'all to open your eyes and look at this stuff. They have lied to us for eons. And we just went along. We got along to get along because that's what we were taught. But now that we are in the information age, the true information age, with access to quantum bits of information, please look deeper. Look at some of those old pictures. Google a picture of 1869 or 1880. Look at them pictures. Look around the perimeter of the picture. You will notice it's all whited out right around. Some of them are not done so well. So you will see this kind of white out around the building tops and all. Look at them. You're going to start to say, wait a minute. What's going on? Then there's some old pictures where there's no one on the street. You might see like a buggy down the street. Look at those pictures in depth. Look at the perimeter of those pictures. You are going to start to see something unfold. We have been lied to about this civilization, about this world, about who people are, about what they do. We live in a sick world where people have a penchant for child flesh. Remember there was a time where Black mothers used to say, what the teacher gonna lie on you for? Teacher done got her education. She ain't got to lie on you. Hello. Stop that foolishness. That's some old yes or massa mentality. Remember, a lot of these teachers are married to the cops. And they have a lot of underground networks and rings that have a taste for children. You didn't see in New York? In Crown Heights, New York, where they found the tunnels under the people whose names start with a J that we can't say or we'll lose our channel? That's my community. I've passed that building 1 million times. It's the world headquarters for their sect. Tunnels. You saw what was in the tunnels? High chairs, mattresses that had boo-boo stains on them and blood. Yes, Google. Unless they have been scrubbed from the internet, I'm sure there's a picture somewhere out there. Go look. They kept finding all kinds of things, dolls, shoes, skirts, all types of stuff in these tunnels. Why? Stop deluding yourself. Some of these teachers can't wait for your kids to get in the hands of their husbands. It goes hand in hand. Who do you think these teachers are married to? The popo. Ask yourself how there's so many teacher popo unions. Is to get your kids, jack them up in school, complain about them. He doesn't know how to act. He can't sit still. He's so out of control. We're going to put him in special ed. And then they disenfranchise the child so much by the time he get on the street, her husband is the next line of contact. Whoop whoop. Spread them. Think I'm making it up? Think about it. Think about it. And mind you, she don't live in your community, and neither does he. But they travel from the comfort of their cozy suburb down to the city to deal with your kids. Mm-hmm. Tell me I'm lying. You can't, because you know I'm telling the truth. You think they don't sit around and say, oh, there's this Pookie and Man in my class, I'm gonna get them. And he'd be like, oh yeah, what they look like? Suspend them so I can snatch them up off the street. If you think I'm making up scenarios that sound cute, the joke is on you. That's how they save money. They commute in together. They live out in the suburbs. Their grass is very green, well edged, no weeds in their lawn. While your child is suspended by Becky because he is out of control, and now he's on the corner waiting for her husband to come and be like, whoop, 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 cutting school. How they always know how to catch the kids cutting school? Perhaps their wives, who are the teachers, told them, I done suspended these four. They're going to be out there. Yeah. What do you think the whole, oh, the immigrants at the border, we have to separate them, this, that, the other, and they separated all the children. Where are all those children? There are still missing children from Katrina. Okay? Oh, it's flooding. Send your kids up into this helicopter. And people have never seen their children again. There are missing children right here in ACS. They lost track of the child, and the case manager was just writing notes, acting like she was visiting, and nobody knows where the children are. Where do you think the children are? Because right where you think the children are, or what you think has happened to them, has happened to them. Yes. I believe her wholeheartedly. And let me tell you what happens. I see a lot of people try to gaslight her and talk all this junk. But listen, people that have endured that level of grape and trauma and molestation, they disassociate. And so sometimes you are talking to one of their disassociative personalities, and then another time you're talking to another disassociative personality. Because to disassociate is to compartmentalize your mind and move this prefrontal cortex, or the sensor, the segment of your brain that has feelings and emotions. You move it over here, and you let this other section of your brain come to the front. You move the feelings to the recesses, and you let this other section come to the front. That's for concrete permanence and conditional reasoning. You let that come to the front, because then you have to tell yourself, okay, just close your eyes, just go with it. Nobody's coming to save you. I know it hurts, but you just got to go through this. I don't know why you have to go through this, but this, and you have to compartmentalize. And then when you have to go through yet another thing, those two slide to the side, and this part comes forward to deal with this other kind of grabuse that you have to deal with. This is what it is. I'm not making stuff up and talking junk. I used to work for New York State Office of Mental Retardation and Developmental Disabilities and New York State Office of Mental Health. I used to work on a dual diagnosis ward, among other things. We had people I worked in one particular unit, a very secure unit called MDU, where any and anybody could work in that unit. And trust me, any and anybody didn't want to work in that unit. It was people that may have had some sort of spectrum disorder. They were fully functioning in society, attorneys, doctors. I'm talking accomplished people that went to school and paid a whole lot of money to get their degree. And click, 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 mind just fragmented and can't cope. And now they live in a psychiatric hospital. Throwing feces and gone, because the mind is very delicate. And when it fragments and when it fractures, it's hard to get it back. Hard to get it back. You understand me? By the grace of God, He saved her and made it so that she is able to recall and recount. But a lot of people don't want to believe her because they still got so much hero worship and idol worship. She might be calling some of y'all favorite celebrities names. Y'all don't want to believe it. When in any other part of your life do you vet the authenticity of somebody's tale based on somebody's job? If somebody came and said, Auntie, you see your niece and you're like, why you look like that? Why your face so twisted up? You always be laughing and joking. Why you so quiet lately and always in the corner and always crying and moody? What's your problem? And she say, Auntie, Mr. Johnny been messing with me. Would you turn to your niece and say, who, Mr. Johnny the painter? Oh, no painter wouldn't do that, girl. Go sit down there and talk about no painter. Talk about Mr. Johnny. You know he be painting people wall. He would never do that. Do you see how absurd that is? Doesn't it sound ridiculous? Yet you do it for celebrities. Who? The Diddler? He rich. Why would he do that? Why he wants you? Please. He would never do. Come on. You see how stupid it sounds when you simply change the job and the person? Ridiculous. But yet, so many people out there in their hero worship. They're in their hero worship bag. Oh, so-and-so would never do that. Really? Were you there? I love humanity, but let's be honest. Everybody ain't playing for the right team. Some people have given over their mind to a reprobate heart and mind. Yeah, but it's this whole patriarchy and authoritative thing where people, the Bible says God is no respecter of person, but people are. Whenever there's people in a position of authority, they get to, oh, yes, ma'am. Oh, no, sir. Really? They big on yes, ma'am in Georgia. They big on it. Indeed, Ashe. They're big on it. And guess what? They used to get mad at me. Why you don't say yes, ma'am? Because your name is Sarah. Why you need me to say yes, ma'am? You know who say yes, ma'am? You know who they used to say yes, ma'am to? The slave master's wife. Why you need me to give you adulation? Your name's Sarah. Your mama named you Sarah, and I'm going to call you Sarah. You got a problem with that? That's right. You don't judge people by their career. You judge them by their character. And if it walks like a duck and it talks like a duck and it's dropping feathers and you tell me it's a cow, we got a problem. We have a problem if you think it's a cow. So if somebody has displayed a propensity for violence and aggression and crimes and people drop in their wake and disappear and the people around them all end up with pneumonia, and y'all still saying, oh, they just trying to take a good man down because he tried to sue a wine company. And two things can happen at the same time. Somebody can be a raggedy piece of ish and wealthy. Somebody could be a raggedy piece of ish and they could be trying to take him down too. And perhaps they're trying to take him down because he was a raggedy piece of ish that got beside himself and got too big for his britches. Remember, they always say, don't bite the hand that feeds you. Because on the way up, you sashay and then you fly. What you gonna do on the way down? And two things can be true at the same time. What I would, that's a phenomenal question. Let me put you on the screen, Blacko. It's a phenomenal question. The advice that I would give to content creators covering the indictment, would be the trial and the lawsuit, would be to remember the words that they say, the excuse me guys, the jokes that they make, the information or the doubt or the commentary that they put into cyberspace lives on. And when people are trying to earn their dollar and get their client off, they will stop at nothing. Nothing. Money can buy you a defense. You could be somebody with a heart of gold, a beautiful person in this world, an average citizen, not wealthy by any stretch of the imagination. And all it takes is for you to buck up on the wrong person and be in a one area where something goes down and you get swept up in it. You think because you was a nice guy on your job and everybody liked you, they're going to automatically find you not guilty? No. You better have some money stashed away to buy yourself a defense worthy of being found not guilty. Let's keep it a buck. There's a lot of innocent people incarcerated and a lot of guilty, wealthy people on the street. I would want them to comport themselves in a manner that they are always thinking of the victims. If you are a content creator and you cover this topic, I want you every morning to get up and say the name of one of the victims. At lunchtime, speak the names of the victims. Say our names. Say our names. That will impact how you move forward. Because if you think it's a joke and you keep carrying over all these shenanigans, you are going to create enough reasonable doubt that his attorney has all this internet fodder to try to create reasonable doubt. And then you're going to let a guilty man walk. And it will be on your hands. And trust me, you don't know what it feels like to carry the burden of knowing that if anybody had listened to you, had somebody listened to your voice and taken you serious and heeded the warning that you gave, all of these people, 24 years, 25 years worth of people, would not have had to suffer the indignity. It eats away at me. That's why I sit here. It eats away at me. Why didn't they listen? Is this what they planned for society? Is this what they planned for our children? Do you know what happens to a child whose mind is fragmented and broken? It is easy to repair, effed up adults than it is to repair a broken child. Trust me. The children are missing and they are in those tunnels. Or they are no longer in this land of the living, in this realm. Like, let's be honest. Let's call it what it is. It's ridiculous. And here's the deal. What nobody can tell me is what I know for a fact. What nobody can tell me is what I know for a fact. And anybody that comes out, Funkmaster Flex, now, while I'm not a fan of his, like I said on my other post, I'm not a fan. He's controversial. I appreciate the fact that he was willing to speak out. I will give him that. Because you see all these, nobody talks more than celebrities. Oh, they everywhere. They everywhere. But guess what? They've radio silence. I hope y'all paying attention to how quiet they are all. They all are. How quiet. What victims has he mocked? If you know of some victims that he mocked, tell us. Cite your sources, drop it in the comments. Yep, Tartaria. They are rewriting history. Absolutely. Khalif Browder. Nobody listened to him. They're snatching people off the street. He's a clear indication of a young guy snatched off the street. Does anybody know the original story of Khalif Browder? Why they snatched him? Because somebody lied and said he stole their backpack. You know what he had to endure over a lie about a stolen backpack? When the backpack turned out to be his, it didn't just take out Khalif Browder, it took his mama out too. Because he was in so much pain, he ended up unaliving himself in his bedroom out the back window of the house she ended up having to live through. The woman died of a broken heart. And then the wretched, raggedy father who did nothing and didn't want to take care of him and judged him and complained and wouldn't bail him out and did all that stuff, had the audacity, the unmitigated gall to slide in and file a lawsuit. Oh, my son. And didn't even want to give the mother none of the money. It was disgusting. But God allows those things to happen, unfortunately, to invoke a conscience in the rest of us. And I see people always being fake mad. Oh, this is terrible, and be over in no time. People love to get fake mad about something and move on so quick. Listen, it's disingenuous for anybody to say just because somebody files a lawsuit, they're looking for a payoff. His own compadre, who he think he's defending, filed a lawsuit against Diageo. Was he looking for a payday? We live in a society where there are two levels of remedy for you to seek as it pertains to being taken advantage of, being harmed, being stripped of your wholeness and your ability to seek remedy to be made whole. Those two legal lanes are if someone harms you or destroys your property or in some way depletes you of something that is your possession and commits a crime against you, the state, the city, the government, the feds will file a lawsuit against them. The state of blah, blah, blah against Becky Jones. And if someone alleviates you and violates your civil rights and takes something away from you or harms you in a particular kind of way and leaves you not whole, you have a right to seek civil remedy. That means you sue them. There are a lot of reasons why people seek civil remedy. Sometimes the person is victimized and they are so under duress and afraid and ashamed and in fear, they don't speak up in time and the statute of limitation runs out. When they finally decide to speak up, they are told, well, the legal statute of limitations ran out. Well, we cannot file a charge against them legally, you have a civil right to seek remedy. And then you seek legal remedy in your civil capacity, and that is you're suing them for money. And while money can't replace a lost loved one or this, that, the other, it is the legal remedy that was created to make you whole in the interim if someone, or in the event that someone depletes you of something. If you got a problem with the MF suing somebody to be made whole, talk to your local government. Go talk to your city council, your assemblyman, your local state senators, and local congressional leaders. Go seek remedy. Go write a letter, send it to your local politician. Go get sign a petition and send it to your local politician. Go sit for a Senate or congressional hearing and put forth your premise and complain to them. What are you picking on the people who were stripped of something and seeking remedy to be made whole? Why are you picking on them? There is a cost for being a victim. When I got shot in the face, who was running my beauty salons? You have to stand up in a beauty salon behind a chair to make money. There is no sick leave when you are a beautician. Who is running my businesses? Who is paying the rent for my salons? Who is taking care of my overhead while I'm laid up healing? Who is taking care of all of the things that you lose when you are healing because you were disadvantaged, abused, harmed, hurt, maimed, whatever by someone? Who covers your overhead? This notion. Who pays your medical bills? Who pays for your attorney? Oh, they just want money. Your mama want money. Your mama want money. Don't sound so cute then, right? Everybody thinks it's so bad for people to file a lawsuit against somebody to be made whole until it lands in their mama's front door or their sister or them. Then everybody, oh, here's the thing. My daughter had an accident. I hadn't talked to them. I was like, oh, how your family doing? How's the guys? How's your sons? How's your daughter? I said, oh, everybody's good. I said, unfortunately, my daughter had an accident, but she's doing much better now. First thing out their mouth, oh, I know you sued. I hear it all the time. And guess what? That is the correct remedy. You are entitled to seek remedy. There's nothing wrong with that statement. But for some reason, our Black people, they want you to suffer the indignation of being violated, and then they want you to beat a brokey challenge. But what it really says is, oh, I don't want you to have more than me. If you sue, you may get a lump sum, and then you have more than me, and I have to look at you having more than me. I feel like a piece of crap, and I don't feel like I have the capacity to own or create something to make that level of money, so I don't want you to have anything. I don't care what happened to you. I want you to continue suffering. That's what y'all people are saying when you say these things. Do you know how reviling and disgusting and stupid and sick that is? You know how dumb that is? You know how foul that is? That is what you are saying to people? You don't want people to be made whole. You cannot stand the thought of your neighbor you got 4 quarters, your neighbor got 7. You don't just want 2 of her quarters or 1 of her quarters. You want all 7 of her quarters. You don't want her to have nothing. That's disgusting. What part of you makes you want that? What's that about? What's that about? Where that ninja mentality come from? Because the same people that harbor that ninja mentality, driving around in the finest, luxurious European vehicles, wearing the finest, luxurious European threads and luxury designer goods, but you walk around eating slave food and being a ninja. Why? Everybody want to be high society. Oh, I did. You see my such and such bag? You see my such and such dress? You see my shoes? Oh, I'm going to my mama's house, get some chitlins. How'd that go together? You driving luxury European cars and you eating chitlins? Really? Pig intestines? The nastiest animal that ever saw foot on the face of this earth? You eating his nether regions, his goddamn dirty gut? An animal that does not sweat, that carries all of his waste inside of him. It's one thing when our ancestors did that. But how do you explain the dichotomy of being over here and wearing these luxury designer goods from the latest on the runways of Milan and Paris, and you eating a nasty, disgusting, vile animal that eats his own slop and doesn't sweat? You eating his intestines. Where they do that at? But y'all don't want to have that discussion. And mind you, you paying premium for pig intestines. Bomboclot. I had that discussion in my beauty salon, almost caused a riot. Told me I was a bougie and, you think you're better than people. Okay. I certainly ain't going to eat no pig intestines. On no day. Never have, never will. I never tasted a chitterling either. I know they stink though. I went to somebody's house before, and at Thanksgiving when I was a teenager, and I was like, what is that smell? And she was like, girl, you're so silly. My mother making chitlins. And I said, what? Chitlins. I said, what is that? I never heard of that. Turkey? She's like, no, silly, not turkey, girl. It's pork, chitlins. Then she gonna say, well, my mama's chitlins is clean because she put them in a tub and she put some bleach in it. Your mother cleaned the chitlins in the tub where y'all bathe and put bleach in it? This thing is getting worse and worse. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. And you know what the house smell like? Thanksgiving dinner and boo-boo. I was like, what's happening in here? I was like, you eat chitlins? What? Why are you eating that? And she was just like, it's our culture. It's how we. Of course, when I did greater study, because I was like, what is this thing? I need to know. I'm Caribbean. I don't know what that is. I did greater study and I found out, and then of course, you grow older and you find out to disrespect the enslaved people, the plantation owners would make them cook all the food and then give them the scrap parts that they didn't want. So why are you driving a GL55 Benz and eating chitlins? I don't understand. I said this in the shop before, and when I tell you HE double hockey sticks ensued. People, yeah, and you bougie. I knew you was bougie. I'm asking a question. Why are you so offended? If you eat them, why are you mad? But you know what they say about hit dogs? All right, Angela. And you know what, guys? I'm not going to keep y'all. You know, when we get together, child, we just be talking. We be talking. But I'm not going to keep you guys forever. The dopest mod is on the job, making sure my condolences to you on the passing of your brother. I'm so sorry to hear that. Very sorry on the passing of your brother. Let's give the dopest mod some love in honor of her baby brother. Love and condolences. And we lifting you up, we giving you love, we hugging you. Get our virtual hugs. Absolutely. They had no choice but to consume those things. But now when we have a choice, why is that your option? Why is that your choice? It's disgusting. This animal does not sweat. Anything that does not exude waste from their pores and the orifices in their body, it is toxic. Not the least of which is the Bible said we shouldn't eat that. But whatever, you know. You do you, just trying to help. But to circle back to the conclusion of this, I want people to be mindful of the conversations they have on this internet platform in all regards, not just in regards to this case. Because guess what? The way that the world is working, things that we put on the internet will be indelibly marked in this internet. Your kids are going to come and grow up and see the stuff that you wrote somewhere. There's going to be some special Wayback Machine. They will type in, anything and pull up all the things that you've said. And you're going to have to live that down. So let's just be mindful. Also, we don't want to contaminate the potential for a substantive jury panel to be impaneled where people are clear of mind, judgment, all of that, and willing to hear the facts of the case and come to a conclusion. We don't want to poison the jury pool. All of us are prospective. As a matter of fact, I got a jury notice. Lord. I'm glad I said that. I need to find it. I got a jury notice. I don't remember what day it is. Let me go do my civic duty. Although, here's what I've found. It is my pleasure to do my civic duty. A lot of people complain about what happens to our people in court, but they don't go do their civic duty. It says a jury of your peers. We are a lot of people's peers and we don't want to go and we find every excuse not to go. But then you mad that free my ninja such and such. If you was on a trial, if you did your civic duty and you were particularly on that trial or somebody that looked like you were on that trial, from our community that understands the plight of our community, things that our children face or things that we face on a daily basis, and can be a voice to represent us in that courtroom, perhaps we would get fairer trials and fairer outcomes. But when you got people that don't look like you and they're like this and they go do their civic duty and they're judging someone, and like it always rang in my head. All of us that came from certain communities and this, that, the other, there's always a corner store where you could go and get credit in a corner store. Especially if you come from a lot of inner city communities. You could go, yo, Pancho, let me get this such and such. I'll bring you the money on Friday. He like, okay, my friend, don't forget, you owe me for a Coca-Cola too. And he'd be like, I got you, Pancho, I got you. And you can get credit at the corner store. I never forget when Mike Brown was unalived, and they said the man in the corner store, he had credit from the corner store. He owed him. And that's what their exchange of goods was. And the person, when he left it there in the store, he came back the next day to collect. The guy that was there was like, you're stealing from me. He's like, what you talking about? This is mine. I left it here yesterday. And and he knew that they gave credit at the corner store, but he called the cops to come and unalive Mike Brown. And then after the trial, after the unaliving, after all that stuff happened, there was some sitting on a thing talking about, it's insane. He's lying. He was robbing the store. There's no such thing as going to a corner store and getting credit. And I said, well, look at here. Now use a dang lie and the truth ain't in you, because that is very regular in the community and in the hood and whatever you want to call it. That is absolutely common. But when nobody looks like us and nobody sounds like us and nobody has our shared lived experience on that jury, they make decisions based on what they assume. You cannot speak for someone if you're not in the room. And that's why the jail is full of Pookie Man and Raekwon and Shaniqua. Because we ain't in the trial. We think we too good to go sit on a jury panel. It's your civic duty. These are the prices we pay for the space we take up here on earth. Some of y'all is overdoing your rent. Or you can call it mortgage, but you overdo it. By not doing your civic duty, you are leaving people that look like us to be judged by people that don't look like us, to make their own decisions. And they could be completely wrong. Completely wrong. After all of that, after the guy said all of that to Mike Brown, guess what came out 2 years afterwards? The video of him walking in the store to the corner store and the guy dapping him up. Hey, what's up? What's up? And he throws something on the counter and the guy pick it up and he shakes it and he look at it and he smells. And he like, oh, this that joint. The guy asked Mike Brown for a bag of weed. Mike Brown gave him the bag of weed and he was like, what you want? What you want? And he said, give me some, I guess the white owls. And it was a box, 2 boxes of white owls. And he gave it to him. And then the video goes ahead and it shows Mike Brown walk back in the store with the plastic bag of the white owls and was like, hold this for me. I'll come back and get it tomorrow. And the guy was like, I got you. He tied the bag and he put it under. He said, it's going to be right here. And he was like, I got you. He dapped him up, walked out the store. Then it jumps ahead to the video. Mike Brown coming back in the store and said, oh, let me get my thing. And he reaches to get it. And the other guy jumps up, oh, you robbing the store. You robbing the store. And call the cops and kills him. You don't believe me? Go look on the internet and find it. Google Mike Brown video, corner store. And guess what? They had the video the entire time, but they faked like they didn't know. They faked like they didn't see it, and they had it the entire time. The guy in the store came forward and said, I owed him those. Those were his. I was holding it for him. They knew from the get-go, but they played that charade. They played that charade because they wanted to be able to espouse their point of view. But guess what? If this was on a jury instead of just this, they would be found guilty. But y'all don't want to do y'all civic duty. Y'all too fly and too busy. Your sons are out there in the street. Your sons are out there in the street. Do you want who doesn't share a lived experience with your sons to make the decision of whether he comes home or he's becomes a part of the system to pay somebody's salary? Or do you want to see some of these? What about for yourself? If somebody falsely accuses you of something, This what you want to face? Or this? Ask yourself. Let that inform how you move forward. Yeah, they don't care. They don't care about the missing children. They don't care about the victims. They don't care. And I'm on behalf of all the victims who either cannot come forward now, are protecting their innocence and their identity so that they're not subject to violence like I was after the fact, or don't perceive themselves to have the courage to come forward and speak up. I will take it upon myself to speak on behalf of the victims. We matter. We matter. We have hearts, minds, souls, children's, spouses. We hurt. We cry when you're making fun of us or making a mockery out of the case. It hurts. It hurts. Think about that when you are self-aggrandizing. Think about that when you are waxing poetically. Because here's the long and short of it. Everybody thinks they know this, that, and the third. The people who really know are the survivors, victims, and the people who have done it. The ones who will tell the story are the videotapes. Give it a chance so that we have something to go to. Don't contaminate the jury pool so that we cannot get a fair trial. Listen, victory will be all of ours, even if our particular case is not being heard at the time. Victory belongs to us all. Give it a chance. Chill out a bit. Proceed with caution. Proceed with kindness. Proceed with candor. Proceed with tact and decorum. That's all I'm saying. Consider us. Say our names. Everybody drop "say our names" in the comment for me. Say our names. Care enough about us that you are concerned with us getting recompense and not just running your numbers up so you can get an extra $100,000 or $50 or $1,200, whatever it makes you. I'm not trying to stop nobody's hustle. This is a topic that we need to discuss, but there's a way to do it without making a mockery. Say our names. Say our names. Listen, somebody said to me the other day, you got a raw deal in life. And when I tell you, one of my homegirls from back in the days that I grew up with, I love her dearly. Be watching my back all this time. She said, you got a raw deal in life. You were so talented, so brilliant. There was so much you did. She watched me grow up. She was older than me. She was like, you got a raw deal in life. And I want to make sure that you don't continue to get a raw deal. If I could keep watching your back and keep looking out for you, I'm going to do that. You know how valued I felt? You know how seen and heard I felt? You know how loved I felt? I appreciate it. I'm going to shout you out, Darlene. I got to send my girl some love. Watches out for me. And I love her for that. Supports and watches out for me. Always got my back, always got a kind word, and always checks on me. And I love that. That's how you show love. That's how you show love. You represent for your peoples. And that's it. Give us a chance to get what we're entitled to, especially given the fact that we endured the indignity. Give us the chance. Give us the chance to get some recompense. Give us the chance to feel like victory is ours. Give us the chance. Guys, it's been a while. We've been on here for a long time. I know you guys got sleep. I thank you for being here. Like I said, you could be anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here. I will say in closing, all of the opinions of the dopest nerd are those of the dopest nerd. They are protected by an inalienable right to free speech as protected in the United States Constitution and the rights afforded to press. As a content creator, I am press. Like, share, subscribe, support our channel. I have some amazing interviews that I'm working on right now for y'all. I have one that will be a big surprise, guys. When this interview comes on, I want y'all to share. You're going to love her. And just continue to be fair, not just to us, but the people in your own respective lives. Take care with the people in your lives. God bless you all. Continue to call on his name because, baby, when it's all said and done, we are going to have to face him. And when we are in the heat of whatever we endure, that is the one that is there for us. Like the Bible says, if you do not know him when things are great, he will not know you in your time of need. Don't put yourself in that predicament. Ashe, 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 oh, over all of y'all. I love you. Peace and blessings in your mind, body, soul, spirit, and your flesh. I pray God anoints you and blesses you with all that you desire in life. That is for your greatest and highest benefit and order. Not just wanting things that we be wanting that God take it away. And I thank God for all that he has given and all that he has taken away. All that he has blocked and all that. I thank him for it. Blessings to you guys. That's right. We have a membership, guys. Please join the membership. We're giving free t-shirts away up until a certain number. So join the membership. And then t-shirts will be on sale for the Nerd Herd members. Show us your support and love. The channel is growing. Share this video once it's up. Share it on your socials. Share it with friends. Invite them to the channel. Like, share, subscribe, comment. As soon as you come in the room, always like, so it sends it to the algorithm and lets them know that we're making moves, we're doing things, we're having great conversations here. Continue to invite people that you think would benefit from the conversations we're having. If you catch us on a playback, love you. Thank you for being here. You could have been anywhere in the world and you chose to be here with me. And I appreciate it. The love that I get from you guys, the kind words, the sentiments, the company, you have no idea how much it means to me. You have no idea. Say our names. Say our names. It's really the reason we're here. Let me tell you how important the victims are to this whole thing. Had there been no victims, there would be no story. There would be no situation. There would be no trial. The victims are God's lesson to us all. Do not overlook the victims. There is something for all of us in making sure we don't overlook victims. And by the grace of God, 25 years is too long to feel like I have not received justice. Yeah, 25 years is a long time. Absolutely. Check the replay. I thank you for coming. Thank you so much. I'm glad he led you here. Continue to say our names and respect the victims, please. Whatever you do in regards to this case and in social media, before you press send, ask yourself, will I be impacting a victim? Will I be hurting someone's feeling? Will I be making a mockery of them? Will I be traumatizing them, re-victimizing them? If the answer could possibly be yes, please don't do it. Don't send it. Don't say it. Have some compassion for us. We've suffered enough. And I pray for all the victims/survivors out there. I pray for you all. And I stand in the gap for you and with you until such a time comes that you can stand alone or stand with God or stand at all. I thank God for giving me the power and the fortitude to suffer gladly in this whole 25-year period because it hasn't been easy. But I thank God for his strength that he's imbued in me. I thank God for the gifts he has placed on my life, even when it gets heavy, even when it feels like it's too heavy to bear. I thank him for it. I thank him for choosing me and keeping me whole and alive of sound mind and body for such a time as this. I am eternally grateful to the Most High and his son Yeshua and the Holy Spirit. I thank the ancestors for continuing to walk with me, to hold me on their shoulders, and to cover and anoint me and protect me in my journey. I thank them. And to all of you guys, thank you for being my friend. I appreciate you. Asheo, and sweet dreams to you all. And go hug your loved ones. When I tell y'all the enemy is so wicked, you see what the enemy just did? Wicked. When I tell you they tight, that should be an indicator to you. That blackout should be an indicator to you. They do not like when we speak truth to power. The Holy Spirit says, call a thing by its name. I rebuke Satan, Shaitan, whatever your jinn, whatever your name is, I rebuke you. You see that wickedness? Just blacked me out. Asheo, guys. Good night. Mwah.